Are used to playing one another in the preseason. 32nd all-time meeting between Detroit and Buffalo. Let's welcome in the birthday boy. Tom Leiden's on the sidelines.
Thanks very much, Matt. It is great to be with you. I can't think of a better place to be on my birthday. Hey, how about the national attention the Lions have been getting? 5 nationally televised games, but just recently we've got Megatron, who's on the cover of ESPN, the magazine. But wait, there's more. Just released today, it's Stafford and Megatron on the cover of Sports Illustrated. It says a lot about what the national pundits think about this Detroit Lions team. And in speaking with our director, Rob Aller, he says, you know, now that's a double negative. That's 2 curses. That's the EA Sports Madden cover jinx, and it's a Sports Illustrated cover jinx. So in his philosophy, they cancel each other out. It's now a positive.
You know, you might have jinxed yourself out of a pretty good birthday present. Your wife watches everything you do, and by you saying, I can't think of a better place I'd rather be than up with us in this building rather than on a nice candlelit dinner with your wife,
honey,
you're asking
watching,
for trouble.
Matt is exactly right. I'll be home as soon as I can tonight.
Spoken like a true husband. All right, 32nd all-time meeting. Jason Hanson will kick it off. Buffalo did win the toss, and they will receive, and you will see Ryan Fitzpatrick, but this is where battles are won. The majority of the snaps tonight will be taken by their backup Tyler Thigpen. Later on, you will see Tavares Jackson, the guy from whom they traded from Seattle on Monday. Jason Hanson has his spot solidified, and he will kick it deep. Brad Smith, 5 yards deep. Go out the 16-yard line or so. Here's the Lions starting defense, brought to you by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Through 3 preseason games, the starting defense has faced 12 drives, 3 field goals, 1 touchdown. Willie Young has had a fantastic camp. The linebackers have been rock solid, although Stephen Tulloch is out tonight. Nick Fairley is in for Corey Williams. Jacob Lacey is in for Bill Bentley. And the safeties, Eric Coleman and John Wenley, who performed well against Oakland last weekend. Ryan Fitzpatrick throws, and he slings it out to Donald Jones, who hauls it in. Jones, one of the 2 starting receivers for Buffalo. Their Wallside Windows offense has Ryan Fitzpatrick at the helm. Fitzpatrick last year a career high 3,832 yards. He's already number 5 in Buffalo history in completions and number 5 all-time in yards as well. Scott Chandler, the big tight end. The offensive line is pretty good, but Chris Hairston starts at right tackle for Eric Pierce. On the ground, Jackson past the 30. And for a first down, check that at C.J. Spiller, the 3rd-year pro out of Clemson, to pick up 11.
We'll get a little end zone view from sideline coming at you here. C.J. Spiller, this is what they like, man. He's got great acceleration, very, very fast back. Not a banger per se. He's not going to break a lot of tackles, but boy, if he can get to the edge on you and get down that sideline, you're in deep trouble because he is one of the faster running backs in the NFL.
9th overall pick in 2010. Last year, a career-high 561 yards on the ground and a first down for Buffalo. 6 and 10 a year ago for the Bills. Spiller right up the gut and close to another first down. Good size hole by the interior part of that offensive line. Andy Levitre, Eric Wood, and Craig Urbick.
Watch DeAndre Levy's going to be the middle linebacker. He's going to get blocked by Scott Chandler. Let it go. The tight end's going to come inside, stop it right here. Now that is a beautiful block, a seal block. It's read well. Let it go. He bounces off it. Scott Chandler doing a really good job of sealing DeAndre Levy, playing out of position a little bit there. He's got to see a little bit quicker, Matt. Step underneath that block of the tight end.
You didn't mark that just because it was a tight end doing it, right? A former tight end. Chandler comes in motion, 6'7", 260. He's a big one, that's for sure. Spiller again stops, tries to start again, breaks a tackle from Fairley. First down, and then Coleman nudges him out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. Give him 5.
When you're defending a back like Spiller, you better take good angles. When he gets this ball, it's just kind of a deep handoff, but when he bounces to the outside, we're going to watch Eric Coleman's going to come up from his safety position, and he does knock him out of bounds eventually, but boy, you better take a good angle, because if you don't, he will flatten it down the sidelines, and you will miss him for a big play. You know, it shows you the depth they have at running back with Fred Jackson, who who's not playing, and Spiller's getting most of the carries because he's a quality back as well.
Yeah, Jackson, the usual starter, and last year almost 1,000 yards. Now on first down, empty backfield for Fitzpatrick. Quick slant caught by Jones, his second catch near midfield. Jones' first career start came against Detroit back in 2010. He only had one catch against the Lions in that game. Stevie Johnson and Donald Jones, the wide receivers for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Last week against Pittsburgh, 7 of 18 for 89 yards. Throws, connects with his tight end, Scott Chandler, and he's decked out of bounds. John Wendling, a late flag flies. The two safeties, Coleman and Wendling, tag teaming on the tackle.
This is what they've been running, Matt. They've been running that delayed handoff. You're going to see 15 tacked on here, will the official tell us.
Personal foul, number 19 to the defense, 15 yards added to the end of the run, first down. Correction, number 29.
They've been running the deep handoff. Chandler's going to block. He's going to block down and then release. Comes down, steps inside. Look at Coleman get drawn inside with the fake like he's going on linebacker. That's the same play they ran. Remember we drew him up shooting that backer? He shows that same look and then releases. Eric Coleman is drawn inside. Can't recover in time for a big play.
Lions need to cut down on the penalties. Buffalo marching. Fitzpatrick on a draw to Spiller, dancing his way and trying to get to the outside. Sneaks inside the 20. Dropped by Coleman there. C.J. Spiller with good feet. Eric Coleman has as many tackles tonight as he did against the Raiders last Saturday. Jim Schwartz, Chan Gailey. Gailey in his second year. Remember, Chan Gailey was the head coach at Georgia Tech from 2002 to 2007. He had Calvin Johnson on his roster. He recruited, or helped recruit anyway, Calvin Johnson. 10.5 to go in the first. Fitzpatrick slings it, caught by Stevie Johnson. Broke a tackle and sneaks his way to the 5. He fumbled it. Are they going to say he's down, or is that going to be a turnover?
I think they're going to rule him down on the play. And I think on the replay will show that he was clearly down. He's just going to run a little bit of a slant inside. He's going to get underneath Justin Miller. And as he gets tackled here, he hits the ground. His hip was down, his thigh was down. It'll be reviewed upstairs quickly as this play is getting ready to transpire. And right now, they're just, the Lions cornerbacks are playing a little bit soft, and the defensive line's getting blocked and running. This is a pretty solid drive by the Bills.
Marching their way toward the end zone, first and goal from the 5. Fitzpatrick to Spiller. He's been a workhorse. Slides his way to about the 3. And Ndamukong Suh in on the tackle.
A nice piece Tom Lydon had in the pregame show. I got to watch it, last 2 weeks with Ndamukong Suh. Just a little more insight into the young man. You know, he was very popular and he got knocked a little bit after some of the penalties, but he's recovering from that. I think this is a big season for him, not only as a player on the field, but off the field.
It's a smart move to join Channel 7 every Thursday night, too. Spiller the lone setback, second down and goal. Gets the call again. Feeling his way, nothing doing. They stood him up inside. Sammy Hill did the dirty work, the 4th-year pro out of Stillman.
Let's watch the two defensive tackles. When you're in a goal line defense, they're going to get penetration here. Let it go. That's Suh and Hill. When you can push those guards, and look at Sammy Hill being double teamed, he's still able to get a push about a yard into the backfield, fight through the double team. Big guys like that can do that, Matt. The smaller D tackles have to bury against a double team. Where Sammy Hill, he can just push the pile.
It's great strength, isn't it? 3rd down and goal. The fade for the corner. Touchdown, Buffalo. Beautiful throw. Stevie Johnson on the receiving end.
Well, if Jonte Green wants to see the field this year as a defensive back for the Lions, he's got to learn how to defend the fade route a little bit better than that. Now, Stevie Jones does a nice job, but Real job is done by that man, 14. What a beautiful throw. But still, even though he catches the ball, too much separation. You're not defending anything behind you. You've got to get up in the grill a little bit. You've got to play physical. Get your hands up, disrupt it at least, and then shadow him to the inside. Try to make a play. Jonte Green will get coached up on that, believe me.
And Ryan Fitzpatrick is just throwing to that corner cone, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
got
a spot.
Right.
So if you could disrupt the timing of the receiver beating the jam, or getting him jammed at the line rather, he's not going to get to that spot where the quarterback is throwing.
Ryan Lindell for the extra point. 25 of 25 a year ago, and it's through. Buffalo marches right down Ford Field. Ryan Fitzpatrick 5 for 5 in the drive, and they lead early on in preseason game number 4. Plays 83 yards. C.J. Spiller doing most of the damage for the Buffalo Bills. He looks really good on that opening drive for Buffalo. Even though he only gained 10 yards last week against Pittsburgh, Spiller helping the cause on the ground on the opening drive of the day. Now this is John Potter. John Potter played his college ball at Western Michigan. What does he do? Well, he kicks off, but he booms it through the end zone. Not one person in the NFL has been able to return it on John Potter just yet. He's going to make this club. Justin Miller won't give it a shot either. He's going to make this club as a 4th special teams player. That's how much Chan Gailey values the former Bronco. Let's see what Matt Stafford and company can do when we come back. Stafford can be as methodical as Ryan Fitzpatrick. Lions offensive starting lineup brought to you by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Calvin Johnson leads this team in receiving with 8 catches for 154 yards. Michael LaSure with his 2nd consecutive week in the game. Last week against Oakland, 5 carries, just a yard, but some of those rough yards. Stafford gives it to him. And that hole closes quickly.
Well, we saw a lot of Michael LaSure last week in different situations, but we're not going to see this starting offense too much tonight, Shep. I really think, you know, the fans will come out there. Let's throw it up. Let's give Calvin a shot or get Shep down the middle, but throw the big play here. Try to hit him early on because they're only maybe see this series, and that might be all we get of them.
Let's see if that's what they do here. Stafford. Last week, 8 for 10 for 68 yards. Started 6 for 6. Remember, injured that left hand. Appears to be no problem here.
Maybe checking out or something.
And they give it to LaSure. Got a decent seam there to get to the 26-yard line. The Buffalo Bills defense. Last year, only Minnesota and Tampa surrendered more points per game than Buffalo. They allowed 27 points per game. But, Rob, they had 31 takeaways. And only Detroit and New England had more. Marcel Darius in the middle. The big fella, 6'3", 331. He wears 99. Mario Williams on the edge. 53 sacks since 2006. Moats, Shepard, and Barnett are the linebackers. Barnett 130 wrap-ups last year. Stafford slinging it out to LaSure. Hit and miss. First down and more. The final level, and he levels a man to get to the 40 and inside the 40. Jarris Bird wanted nothing to do with Michael LaSure.
Well, he made Arthur Moats, a pretty good linebacker, look pretty ordinary on that play. LaSure is going to catch this ball in the flat. He's going to release to the right. Stafford looks down the field nice, gives a little separation. Watch Moats come up. I don't think so. And he just makes him look bad. And, you know, it's been a while since Lion fans have seen him running back make someone look that poorly on a tackle. And this young man has an ability. We just need him to get on the field so he can display it.
This time on the ground again. Maybe a yard. Tough to move that big front four that includes Chris Kelsey and Spencer Johnson. Saw what LaSure did at the University of Illinois. 2nd round pick in 2011. Johnson, Burleson, and Scheffler for Stafford and the Lions on a 2nd down and 9. Quick slant and incomplete, intended for Calvin Johnson. Let's take a look at our keys to victory. They are brought to you by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first, Rob Rubik.
Well, when you're in the 4th preseason game, obviously one of the keys each and every year is going to be you got to get off the field. The other one is opportunity for people to win a position on this team. The last one is if you can't make it for this team, make it for someone else. Get on
Personal
field.
foul. Face mask. 27 of the defense. 15 yards. Previous spot. First down.
As we talked about in the open, there's a lot of other teams right now evaluating not only their own personnel, but everyone's personnel. So a team, the Lions, may be real deep at the receiver position. Other teams aren't as deep. So if you can perform here tonight, you might have an opportunity to catch on with another club.
That penalty on Stephon Gilmore. He's a good-looking rookie out of South Carolina, first-round pick, number 10 overall, who may have come out as the most complete cornerback, according to many scouting services. It's 1st and 10 for Stafford and company. LaSure hit head-on, but still fell forward despite Kelvin Shepard's effort. Shepard, the second-year pro out of LSU, who was a 3-year starter there, and left Baton Rouge as the 9th all-time leading tackler. Tiger history. He's their starting middle. So Detroit's getting a look at most of the starters. Only Mark Anderson isn't starting for Buffalo up front. Empty backfield for Stafford on 2nd down and 10. Good pocket. Miscommunication.
Well, that's what happens when you have a running back in a formation, which is going to isolate him out at the split end position. And he's going to be coached up by number 9 right there. Is telling him, you know, that's not what we're going to do on that. We're going to run you on a little bit of a curl and slide to the outside away from the defender. McKell actually curls to the inside and falls incomplete. And people who really don't know what's going on, some of them, man, that's a bad pass by Stafford. He didn't look sharp last night.
Question
but
is,
he did look sharp. I guarantee Stafford's right on this one.
Here's the question: who's got better dress, him or Stephon Gilmore? Huh?
I mean, dreads aren't in my vocab.
Not for the bald guy. 3rd down and 10. Stafford has time for the end zone. Touchdown, Calvin Johnson. Oh, he slung it in there, and Johnson went up. And that 40-plus vertical is something nobody else can do in that Buffalo secondary.
Well, Aaron Williams just got schooled, like a lot of kids that went to class last year, by number 81, Kelvin Johnson. He's able to get to the inside, and the ball, Matthew Stafford, is well thrown. A little bit behind him, but when you're 6'5" and you got 5'10" DBs covering you, that's not a problem.
You really can't blame cornerbacks around the NFL for saying, that ain't fair. But as you've always told us, hey, listen, that's just genetics, man.
Let him pull a hammy that week.
7-all. Both first-string offenses look pretty sharp early on. I've answered by the Detroit Lions. Ryan Fitzpatrick in Buffalo, 8 plays, 83 yards. Matt Stafford and company say anything you can do, I can do better. 7 plays, 80 yards. The 24-yard touchdown seed to Calvin Johnson. Johnson with his 2nd touchdown of the preseason. And Matt Stafford 2 for 3 on the drive. There's Kasim Osgood. Rob Rubik highlighted him earlier in our broadcast. He's the guy who's supposed to make a difference on special teams. Former Pro Bowler as late as 2009. Smith. And not much there. Fumble! And it's picked up! Detroit's got it inside the 10. Rashard Langford on the recovery.
Well, one of the Lions in the secondary who's been under the gun a little bit this season has been Amari Spivey, number 42, the safety for the Lions. But he's going to be able to get in here and get his helmet right there in his shoulder on the ball, knock it out. Rashard Langford, Johnny on the spot to pick it up, and the Lions working with a short field, and look who's in.
Sean Hill.
You knew Megatron and Matthew Stafford and that whole #1 offense wouldn't get too much work, and they were very efficient, got the score. Scott Linehan now getting his 2, some work, and the evaluation process continues.
One of your keys, make a movie. In other words, get something on film. If Langford doesn't make it with this Lions club, he's got at least that on film to be Johnny on the spot.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, Amari Spivey, I talked also, Matt, about some guys have done enough and they're just trying not to mess up. Other guys need to make an impression. I think Spivey right there made a pretty good impression on this Lions staff.
And Ashley Palmer, one of the guys that you were questioning about trying to find a spot as a backup linebacker. Up the gut, pushing his way all the way to the 2 is Michael LaSure.
You know, we saw what he could do in the open field, his agility, the quickness he has, and the speed when he turned it on. But this is what he also brings. He's a banger. He can push the pile inside. He reads it nice, gets through it, and drives the line all the way down to the 2-yard line.
We'll get another try here, and it is good enough for 6. Touchdown, Michael LaSure.
Keep an eye on the lower side of LaSure. Look at those legs driving. He lowers his head, lowers his pad level, but keeps those legs moving. Once he realizes, I'm going to put it right in here, he's going to wedge with the offensive line into the end zone.
That has to feel exceptionally good, considering he won't be playing in week 1 or 2. Hanson with the extra point. And it is through. So the Lions capitalize on the Brad Smith turnover forced by Ashley Palmer and Amari Spivey. Detroit down in an early 7-0 hole, bounced back with back-to-back touchdowns to lead by 7 at home. Runs by Michael LaSure on that shortened drive. Good enough to reach pay dirt. And Detroit now has a 14-7 lead over the Bills here at Ford Field. Welcome back to WXYZ Channel 7's coverage of Lions preseason action. That's Justin Rogers. The Bills would like the ball in his hands. An NFL best 28.7 yards per kickoff return from weeks 14 through 17 a year ago. He won't get a shot though. Smith, who fumbled last time, up the middle and cut out at about the 15-yard line, and an injured Lion, Ricardo Silva. We'll see how detrimental that could be when we return after this. Guys are trying to do whatever they can to make this football team. Special teams is part of it. Ricardo Silva hoping that he becomes a member of that defensive backfield.
He's definitely throwing it in there. You watch him cover with great speed, closing off the edge, putting that shoulder and arm on Brad Smith. It's a tough way to make a living.
It sure is.
But it's still a living, and you call that a stinger, which basically is a little bit of nerve damage, Matt.
Tyler Thigpen is 6-year pro out of Coastal Carolina, the first quarterback in that school's history. And a flag on the play before he can sling it around.
The right tackle left a little quick.
Ball start, offense, number 71, 5-yard penalty, first down.
You are correct, sir. Sam Young, the 3rd-year pro out of Notre Dame. Jumped a little early, trying to win a spot. Not exactly ideal for Tyler Thigpen when you're backed up close to your own end zone. First down and 15 for him. Empty backfield, 5 wide receivers set for the Bills. Thigpen throws, and it is caught. It's caught by Doran Dickerson, the backup fullback, and the 2nd-year pro out of Pittsburgh.
Well, Dickerson's just going to run a curl route over the middle of the field, and Amari Spivey kind of rolls the dice a little bit. He's coming from his safety spot. He anticipates. He's going to be right here on the side. Dickerson's going to curl over the middle. He reaches. He just doesn't get there quite in time. The right read, the right break on the ball. It's just a game of inches, and he was a couple inches short and making a nice deflection.
Dickerson played tight end at Pitt. He's the first-team All-American tight end from Pittsburgh since Mike Ditka in 1960. Thigpen to throw, lofting for the sideline and incomplete, intended for Brad Smith.
Richard Langford coming over the top in cover 2. He has the deep half there. Brad Smith getting down the sideline. He's released by the corner, Jonte Green, at that side, and it's a tough one on his safety, especially now receivers doing a good job of staying wide, Matt. Safety's got to run about 20 yards. Once that ball is thrown, he's got to close it quickly to make a play.
Remember, Brad Smith is the guy who added so much of that extra type of intangible with the Jets. The Jets have missed that. That's part of the reason they traded for Tim Tebow. Empty backfield now on 3rd down and 7 for Buffalo. Thigpen And it was bet. Somebody got a hand on that one, it looked like. It's incomplete, and you're going to see a flag on the play. Maybe there was no tip. I thought there was. Sammy Hill says there was. That ball came out very strange. And if it was tipped at the line, there should be no flag.
Well, Jonte Green's going to be in coverage.
There's no foul on the play. The ball was tipped. 4th down.
Hit him right off the side, the helmet and shoulder pad. But Jonte Green's going to get there a little bit early, even though the ball, I think, was uncatchable, but it was tipped. That's the reason it was looked so poorly thrown by Tyler Thigpen. So yeah, it looks like
What's been your impression of
like
Jonte Green so far?
He's kind of a 50-50 right now. He'll make a good play, then he'll make a not so good play.
Yeah.
But that play, it looked like he was worse in coverage than he actually was because he hit him early, but the speed and the play of the ball was altered by Sammy Hill. So he got there too quickly.
Justin Miller to receive the punt. Just inside the 30. Make it Patrick Edwards. 83, now 43. Broke a tackle down the sideline. Good return. Squeezed it inside the Buffalo 40. They'll mark it right around the 39.
Patrick Edwards says, don't forget about me. A little dip in just to freeze so he can get to the edge. The contain man for the Bills that time, because of that little north vertical move, he dead-legged him. It drew him in, then he was able to get outside and really highlight his speed. So Lions work with a short field once again.
They'll mark it right at the 40. LaShore remains the lone setback for Sean Hill. Checking off. Got Stovall to the left. He'll give it to LaShore. Going left. Around Riley Reef. Lowers the shoulder and gets to the 30.
Let's check. We're going to ISO these two gentlemen. Left tackle and the tight end of that side. Really good job by Wells and Jason Fox of getting the end. Getting a little bit of a seal. Wells got knocked down, Matt, but it doesn't matter because time he got knocked down, the defender kind of trips over him, allows a nice edge play.
They've got Jason Fox on the left, Riley Reef on the right. Hill to throw. Caught by Ryan Broyles inside the 5. Good throw and catch.
Sean Hill is the type of guy, he can sit on the bench for 8 weeks in a row, 8 quarters in a row, or 8 minutes in a row, and he can come out like he's been playing all the time and make these type of throws. We saw this over the past few seasons when called upon. Good job on the play action, good ball faking, and what a well-thrown ball to Ryan Broyles.
Listen, that's not an easy throw when you're rolling.
No, you know, people say, oh, he's rolling to his right, it's easier. It's a little easier if you're a right-handed quarterback. But you're moving, the receiver's moving, the ball has to be led, and it's just a tougher perspective for a quarterback. Some do it pretty naturally and easily, others struggle at it, but Sean Hill looked like an old veteran with that one.
2nd down and goal for his offense at the 2-yard line. Stovall to the right. LaShore, the tailback in the I formation. Gets the call again. No signal yet. Touchdown, Michael LaShore for the 2nd time tonight.
Well, if you're going to run between the tackles, you better have a guard and a center that can get push. And we're going to watch a really nice job here. We got Dan Gerberry, Dylan Gandy getting a nice little wedge going on.
Well, they say they're going to mark it at the half-yard line, Rob.
Well, Suarez saw his arms up
There were 2 officials who raised their arms.
Well, they will get their pink slip.
3rd down and goal. Remember, replacement officials in week 1 in the NFL. Hill to throw and incomplete.
Now, unless Coach Schwartz wants to work on his field goal team, he's going to go for a 4th down and about a half a yard to go. And you see Austin Wells coming into the game. Big Will Heller, and I mean big. Isn't he, Chev? You look at him in a lot. This guy is 6'6",
275
and
pounds.
not an ounce of fat.
LaShore. It'll be Hill diving in. Touchdown, Sean Hill. Now,
there we go. As Mickey Redmond would say, let the big boys go. You see Jason Fox jumping in there.
Oh, boy.
Dan Gerber, you protect that quarterback now.
Absolutely.
You'll pay your fine. you keep... Sean Hill gets up and spikes the ball. You gotta love it. This is a preseason game.
Listen, he is so well respected and so well liked in that locker room. You know it as well as I do.
And
Players really like playing for him.
And you understand why. You see this type of effort. This up and over for the quarterback. He breaks the plane. I had a chance to listen to him speak at the Courage House dinner last year, which the Lions honor different players each and every year. And what a wonderful job that young man did.
Well, he appreciates you calling him young man. I can tell you that. At age 32, he appreciates you calling him young man. Yeah, they're going to review this. That's why I was a little surprised they didn't review the last touchdown, because we saw two officials come from the near sideline and signify touchdown.
Yeah,
they never took a look at it. So I was a little surprised.
We'll get a couple different looks here from over the top. Maybe tough with a little bit of perspective. He really doesn't stretch the ball out much, but I think the side view, which I saw earlier, right here, you're going to see. Yeah, he broke the. There's definitely not enough to overrule the on the field call. I'm going on a limb here, and I think I hit last. I think I'm 1 for 7 now over the past 3 years.
You're hanging in there. Yeah, you're all right.
If I was a baseball player, 1 for 7, I'd be paid still about $3 million.
Well, we talked about earlier in the broadcast, and Ndamukong Suh joining our folks at Channel 7. What does Coach Schwartz have to say about the latest game? Well, watch Mondays on 7 Action News at 7 for Coach Schwartz Says, only on 7, your official Detroit Lions TV station. And don't forget our pre-games every Sunday morning, 11 a.m., including the home opener against the St. Louis Rams. And then we're out in San Francisco, and then down to Nashville, Tennessee to start the campaign. So 2 out of the first 3 on the road. And that San Francisco Sunday night game, look out now. That is going to be one heck of a showdown, you would guess. Outstanding Niners defense against this potent Lions offense that set a franchise record for yards per game, passing yards per game, points per game, and touchdowns. Yeah, lots to smile about that offense last year. 57 touchdowns. Mike Shepard, no relation, will tell us.
The ruling on the field has been confirmed. Touchdown.
Thank you, Michael. Chan Gailey asks if he can look at that a little bit closer. Corey Williams is excited, so is Sean Hill. He's got the rushing touchdown, and Detroit is now an extra point away from going up 14. You know what Scott Linehan's telling Sean Hill there? Man, you look like you were jumping on a trampoline.
Way up in the air.
You should be a halftime act at an NBA game. No problem for Jason Hansen on the extra point. We tease because we appreciate it. Visit DetroitLions.com for breaking news, analysis, access, and more. Lions insider Tim Twentyman and lead columnist Mike O'Hara provide the in-depth coverage that makes DetroitLions.com your #1 source for everything Detroit Lions.
You know, over the years, the Detroit Lions have had some quarterback controversies that have come through the organization. This is not one. This is an older quarterback helping and watching a young quarterback become a superstar. And knowing, you know what? He's better than me.
Yeah.
I'm probably good enough to start for 6 or 8 NFL teams myself, but he has an opportunity to work with Matthew and watch him grow into one of the great quarterbacks, which I believe he will be. But Sean Hill also knows that he's so valuable to this team, and this is a team that's very, very close, and that the season is not ruined if Matthew goes down, because he will be ready to step in, where a lot of teams don't have that luxury. And we're going to see that with Buffalo a little bit, with Tyler Thinkpen and Tavares Jackson really fighting out who's going to be there too.
You don't think a team like Arizona would like to have a guy like Sean Hill right now? I mean, you talk about a club that's a little bit in limbo of who's going to start.
The Seahawks. They pay a boatload full of money, bringing Matt.
Well, $10 million guaranteed. Overall, it's 26. It's really not. But for a backup, remember the highest paid backup's Kyle Orton.
But they didn't bring him in as a backup.
You're right.
They brought him in to be the starter.
Right.
So he's basically
But
Prince of Thieves right now.
Right, but hats off to Russell Wilson for winning that starting job. This will come out to 20. You can't help but wonder, though, as Nick Fairley takes dead aim at Tyler Thigpen in the Buffalo Bills offense, if this is the last audition for Tyler Thigpen, you don't trade for Tavares Jackson if you don't think he's going to be on your club. Are you really going to carry 3 knowing that you got Brad Smith as an emergency 4, do you think?
Good point. Yeah, I don't think they will. And Tyler Thigpen could be the odd man out. I think with his experience, Matt, that he will find a home. There'll be people cutting quarterbacks, keeping quarterbacks, but still looking to upgrade the position. That was always one of the worst things as a player. Boy, you think you made a team. I saw guys, they come in that last Monday, they made the club, and by Tuesday they were gone.
Shard Langford a little nicked up on the kickoff. Thigpen with a give and past the 20-yard line to Shard Choice. He's the 5th-year pro out of Georgia Tech. He played for Chan Gailey down there in Atlanta. Claimed off waivers from Washington last year. Played 6 games for the Bills last season.
You want to be a cornerback in the NFL? There's Justin Miller. He gets just rolled. They're going to pull. The left guard's going to come and kick him out. And watch it go. Watch the big boy just roll him. Bam. And then he lands on him. That'll insult to injury.
That's Mark Asper, 63 in white. Thigpen throws, and it's picked off! To the house, Jonte Green! That helps.
Well, we commented on Jonte Green earlier, and this is just a poorly thrown ball. Now, he reads it. He's jumping it, but look at the height of that ball. I mean, that's not a well-thrown pass in high school. You can't float a ball up there. You know, it looks like a balloon heading out there. Jonte Green's eyes get just wide as saucers. He steps in front of that. That's just too easy. Pick 6.
Detroit has scored 28 unanswered. Special teams has made a difference, and now the defense on the interception has been a difference maker.
And Jonte Green, he's going to step right up underneath the route. The ball intended for Derek Hagan, but there's nothing Hagan could do because he's reading the flight of the ball. He does not sense that Green has already jumped the route. And the ball.
Yeah, that was tipped.
Yeah, that's right. If not tipped, the hand of Thigpen got hit and the ball flooded. I was going to say, you don't see enough of a quarterback throw an out or a hitch like that.
Yeah, remember last year, Detroit, 21 picks. 5 of them went the other way for scores. That was the second most in franchise history and led the NFL.
Are you a fantasy football guy? I'm not. But I was surprised because this Lions defense, as Lions fans will attest to, gave up a lot of yards, a lot of points, but they were the 3rd-rated defense for fantasy football. Is that because of the turnovers?
That's because of 34 takeaways, which was 3rd best in the entire NFL. It also helped, I'm sure, that they had 41 sacks, but that was, about 10th in the NFL. It's all about the takeaways.
Predicated on takeaways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Officially a 23-yard interception return for a score as Thigpen talks it over with Ryan Fitzpatrick. 28-7 Detroit. They were down 7-zip. And then a Johnson touchdown and a LaShore touchdown and then a leaping TD by Sean Hill and then Jonte Green, the 6th-round choice out of New Mexico State, puts it at 28-7. Good kickoff return coverage by Detroit. It's something that impressed Jim Schwartz last week against Oakland and really has impressed him all preseason long. That's something that they wanted to shore up. They've done a better job, at least in the preseason, from what we can tell. Well, Gunther Cunningham said about Jonte Green, look, he's fast. You see it every single day. Question is, can you learn quick enough for the NFL? Shard Choice going nowhere. Boy, Detroit's defensive line doing a nice job. At least this second unit. Sammy Hill has had himself a night already. And we've only played a quarter. It's 28-7 Lions. Down early, 7-zip to Ryan Fitzpatrick on the touchdown to C.D. Johnson. And then it's been all Lions, including Megatron from Stafford on WXYZ Channel 7.
It's 28-7 as we start the second quarter here at Ford Field. Tom Lydon down in the end zone where the Lions just scored 4 touchdowns. And boy, will this guy, Joey Sacco, have a great story. Not only does he have the ball that Calvin Johnson gave him, he was shooting the play, and he actually has the video on his cell phone, so I don't think he's not going to be a pretty popular guy. What were you thinking when Calvin was coming?
I just screamed, Calvin, Calvin, here, here, and I didn't think he was going to give it to me, and he gave it to me.
You know, he's going to be a very popular guy with his friends. A ball from Megatron. How about that, guys?
Well, what about getting interviewed by Tom Lydon? Don't undersell that. Come on.
Now everybody knows his story.
First down for Buffalo in the meantime. A connection from Thigpen to T.J. Graham. They like T.J. Graham. He's the rookie out of NC State, who has 8 catches for 134 yards coming into the game, including 3 last week against Pittsburgh. A game in which Buffalo was blown out 38-7. They scored first in that game too, Rubes, and then surrendered 38 consecutive points.
What kind of end of a summer is this right here? End your summer with Calvin Johnson tossing you a touchdown ball from a preseason game.
What do you think his buddies think? Gosh darn it.
I should have taken that extra ticket.
I should have. Exactly. He's going to tell a lot of friends that, and a lot of friends will go, no way. And then he's going to say, I've got video proof. Second down and 8 for Thigpen. He's got Dickerson in motion. And an inside give to Tashard Choice, who gets to the 38. Easy for me to say. Choice originally a Dallas draft pick in 08, a 4th rounder. Talked about playing his college ball at Georgia Tech, but he started at Oklahoma and then transferred to Georgia Tech. Had some decent seasons in Dallas where he actually finished 2nd on the club in rushing once. 1st and 10 for the Bills. Thigpen with a check off. And movement by Nick Fairley.
Neutral zone infraction, number 94 of the defense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Well, you know, people say, well, the ball is right there. How do you jump as a defensive tackle? Why can't you see it? Because the inflection of the quarterback, you hear more clearly, more loudly at that position than anywhere else. So granted, you're watching the ball, but these quarterbacks can be so good at their cadence that even though you know it's not being snapped, it's hard not to jump.
1st and 5, Choice, another try and going nowhere. Ricardo Silva back out there for Detroit. That's a good sign. Choice actually lost a yard there, just like Chad Reinhardt lost his lid, the 5th-year pro out of Northern Iowa.
With the exception of the penalty against the D tackle for the Lions last time, I thought it was unfairly. They called on 94, but I'm pretty sure it was 98. Those D tackles, Sammy Hill, Nick Fairley, have done extremely well. They're getting pushed every single play, and it's 3 offensive linemen against the 2 defensive tackles, and they're winning.
Yeah, 94th Lawrence Jackson, he did not jump. Thigpen throws. A back shoulder attempt by T.J. Graham is short, and it'll be 3rd down for Buffalo. Thigpen struggling early on, going after Jonte Green, who has to pick 6 already.
Well, the Bills have to be wondering right now. I mean, we don't go to practice. We don't see Tyler Thigpen each and every day, but geez, they had Vince Young. He didn't perform very well in camp. They got rid of him. They traded for Tavares Jackson. Now, if Thigpen doesn't pan out, and you say, well, we'll keep Jackson. Right. Man, you're really kind of going a little bit out on a limb and guessing with your backup quarterback and your type of system.
Man, the stories out of Buffalo about Vince Young were not good. I mean, just not willing to work hard enough. Thigpen with a throw and almost intercepted by Amari Spivey.
You want to evaluate your defensive backs, your secondary? Put 7, 8 in the box, bring them, lock them man to man. You see the safety blitz coming off the edge. Amari Spivey coming over the top from the other safety. They brought the nickel back rather, and they brought the safety over the top. It looks like it's wide open to a quarterback. You throw it hot, Matt, but Spivey doing a nice job not showing it, being able to come to it late and break on the ball.
Kevin Barnes had the outside receiver, Derek Hagan, with Spivey covering the inside man. Barnes, in case you're wondering, we're in 32. Fair catch made at about the 6-yard line by Patrick Edwards. Long field to work for Detroit. It'll be Kellen Moore coming in for the Lions, who are up 28-7. They lead the Bills in the final preseason game of the year, 28-7 here on Channel 7. Ford Lions Report Live, the official pregame show of the Detroit Lions, only on Channel 7. You'll hear from the players, you'll hear from the coach, and get the game plan for victory on the Ford Lions Report Live before every game, only on Channel 7, your official Detroit Lions TV station. A week from this Sunday, right here against the St. Louis Rams. Michael LaSure bouncing to the outside, and an ankle tackle made right around the 12, and it was made by Justin Rogers. Kellen Moore will get the rest of this game to get his reps in. No one has attempted more passes in the preseason on the Detroit roster than Kellen Moore. He's completed about 50%. He's looked a lot more comfortable the more time he's gotten. You'd expect that. 2nd down and 5 after the LaSure pickup of 5. LaSure again. Oh, made a man miss. Nice move, but good recovery by Jerron Gilbert.
I didn't know LaSure really had this type of quickness, but this is a now you see me, now you don't. Gilbert's going to come in all alone, and that's just brutal. As you said, Gilbert was able to fall back into the play and make the tackle. This is a little bit of shake now.
Yeah.
That's, we saw the power in the +10 running the ball. Now we see the shake, and saw the speed a little bit in the open field on the flare pass to the sidelines.
Detroit 2 of 3 on 3rd downs. More blitz coming. Try to set up the screen, and it's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. And a flag on the play.
Well, they're going to get Rogers, I believe, for roughing the quarterback.
Face mask, 26 to the defense, 15 yards, 1st down.
Close enough, 15-yarder comes in, goes up top on Kellen Moore. See 26 coming from your right as he goes up. You're going to get that either way. You can call face mask, blow to the head, whatever you want. You just cannot go above, really above the body, with the base of the neck almost, Matt. You got to hit the from the neck to the waist of a quarterback, maybe mid-thighs, because they're going to call you.
Listen, that's just a dump penalty.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I understand your hands are up. You're coming, try to deflect the pass, but once you miss the ball, you can't go continue for the head of the quarterback.
Keeps the drive alive, and it's 1st and 10 for Kellen Moore and company. He'll throw again. Good pocket all day to throw. Now he'll run with it. Spinning to the 34.
Here's Kellen Moore just setting up in the pocket. I thought he gave up on Patrick Edwards, was wide to the right. You get a chance, maybe we'll come back to it later and take a look. He shows a little bit of shiftiness getting out of the pocket. I thought he had time. He just, no one was open.
Now LaSure belted at the 33-yard line.
Patrick Edwards is surviving in this league right now, trying to make this club because of his speed. You watch him, he's going to push it inside, and then he pushes it outside. And if that ball is thrown, he's got a shot, because his speed, he's able to get a couple steps. But as a quarterback, you have to have faith in your receiver, you have to have timing. When he's taking that vertical, Matt, before he presses it back to the corner, you got to throw it. Because with his speed, you'll never get it there if you don't.
LaSure lost 2 on the play. It's 3rd down and 7. Moore underneath. Stovall's got the 1st down and more. All the way to the 47-yard line. Needed 7, got 13.
Maurice Stovall has been under fire a little bit. Has not. We're going to let it go here, run it. Now right here, he's going to come in motion. He's coming out. The tight end's going to clear. Let it go. And he's just going to settle down in the middle of the field. He gets the ball, and then he turns it up. But he's been under fire, Matt. He really made the team last year because of his special teams. Has not had the greatest camp on teams. So this is one of those players that needs to have a game, make an impact.
Keelan Williams up the gut. inside the 40 to the 37-yard line.
Mikel Short's got to be in the sideline sitting right now and say, where's that hole when I was in there? That was a well-blocked play by this offensive line. Gerberry and Dylan Gandy inside. They do a nice job of creating a seam, and Keelan Williams just gets through it. Mikel Short said, man, I had 3 carries. The ball and the defender we all got together at the same time. Keelan gets 1 carry, and he gets a nice game.
He runs hard. Empty backfield for Moore. Quick throw. Broyles has got it in stride and inside the 20. That's a nice pitch and catch.
Some of the people have knocked the arm strength of Kellen Moore. What they don't knock is his touch and accuracy. He has touch. He has accuracy coming from Boise State. He hasn't shown the big arm. And in the slot, Broyles just get inside position. And that's one of those matchup issues again. You got Nigel Bradham, a linebacker, trying to cover Ryan Broyles. That's just not going to happen.
Another empty backfield set for Detroit. Moore lofting for the corner. He wants Stovall. Knocked it away and incomplete.
Another well-thrown ball, and Stovall does a nice job from the slot. He's just going to run it kind of a fade route. He's going to press the corner that time. Denoris Searcy inside, and he has it. I mean, he goes up, he uses that big 6'5" frame. He gets it in his hands. But to the credit of the Buffalo defense, they did a good job of coming in and stripping it. Leotis McKelvin, a veteran, makes a nice play.
McKelvin, the 11th overall pick, the first cornerback taken 5 years ago out of Troy. 2nd down and 10, tries the other side, and miscommunication with Patrick Edwards. Let me ask you about the Stovall. We talk about strength and receivers, and you think about Calvin Johnson with his build. What about the strength of hands?
Very important. Everyone says you have to have big hands. You don't have to have big hands per se to be a receiver. My hands are not abnormally large.
Charlie Sanders' hands.
Right. Charlie, we put him up, we're about the same. What you need to obviously have great eyes, great focus, concentration. But once you grab it, that's where the strength comes in, and how quickly you can tuck it away. And if you can't tuck it away, you have Ozzie Houston used to squeeze the ball about 24/7.
That one hit the back of the head of Justin Rogers.
He'd either have a little rubber ball he would squeeze all the time to create his forearm strength, his hand strength, or he'd have the wired clips. But he was a big believer, and he was a pretty good tight end, Ozzie Newsome. Moore is able to step, good protection in the pocket.
Hello,
Justin Rogers.
Hello, blooper reel. Waiting for the sound effect. This will be a 35-yard field goal attempt for Jason Hansen. Blocked. I think that was Leotis McKelvin as well. It was. So Detroit has had a nice special teams play. Buffalo gets one of their own, courtesy of the cornerbacks' first block of the preseason. Leotis McKelvin with the key block for Buffalo to keep it a 28-7 game. Otherwise, Jason Hansen would have belted it through and made it 31-7. Instead, McKelvin allows his offense to take over. 1st and 10 from the Detroit 25, or from the Buffalo 25, rather. Tyler Thigpen playing for the backup rule with an inside give. Ricardo Silva fought off a tough block and made a tackle inside there. Talking about a guy who tried to make an impression last year and now is screaming so far in the preseason to keep him. It's not easy when you're caught up in the wash and you're that size. A pickup of 3 for Tashard Short. Choice right now 3rd on the Buffalo depth chart behind Fred Jackson and C.J. Spiller. And he's the lone setback on 2nd down and 7. He'll get the call again. Doug Hogan on the tackle that time for Detroit. We had talked about Mark Asper, the rookie from Oregon, earlier, 6th-round pick. He performed the Heimlich maneuver on a choking diner during the Beef Bowl last year. Oregon was playing in the Rose Bowl, right? And so they had that annual dinner. Well, somebody was choking, and the big fella came over. I bet you that person ended up coughing up a lung. I mean, when you get somebody who's 6'7", 3 1/4, pulling on your abdomen from behind, that's gotta hurt. It's like Rob Rubik grabbing me and throwing me around like a rag doll.
Offsides, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Another penalty by Detroit.
26.
Lines up 2 new bodies inside at the defensive tackle position. Look at Asper right there.
First down for Buffalo, by the way. Yeah, Everett Brown is in at one of the defensive end spots. He wears 95 in Honolulu blue. Ronell Lewis at the other side. Big pen to throw, lofting for the sideline and incomplete, a flag in the play. That's against Kevin Barnes. He's the newly acquired Lion, came over in a trade with Washington.
And Gunther Cunningham's getting a good look here. This is what he
Pass
wants.
interference, number 32. First down, Buffalo.
He doesn't want the flag.
Nobody wants. He puts him on an island. He puts Barnes on an island, one-on-one. Because they're going to bring a little bit of pressure inside with a twist. But you can see him outside running at the receiver. Just forces him out of bounds a little too much with his hip and gets a little arm bar in there and pushes him. Not in really bad position to make the play. It's one of those plays when they evaluate, they'll look at us, okay, now you did this, this, and this very well, but you didn't do this and this, and that's what they're going to correct.
Tim Walton, the defensive backs coach, will go over that with him. Big pen with a nice play action fake. And as soon as he connects with Kevin Brock, Brock is tackled by Amari Spivey. Good read by Spivey.
We saw this play earlier that the Bills ran. It's going to be a slow block down inside and then release outside. But Spivey is going to do a nice job of jumping it quickly. Let it go. Slow block. Brock releases, and look at Amari. He doesn't get drawn. We saw Eric Coleman go down to be too aggressive on that slow block, get caught down in the middle, and not be able to release back out to pick up the tight end.
2nd down and 8 now after the connection. Strong arms it to the far sideline. Good tackle by Barnes, but a complete pass to Derek Hagan. We know about offensive playbooks. How long does it take a defensive player to learn the defensive playbook, do you think?
Not very long if they put you in a man-to-man situation. All right, Kevin, you go out there, we're going to play man. All right, just cover him. Don't let him catch the ball. But obviously there's nuances. It's tougher if you're a safety, because then you're making calls and you're running a lot of combination coverages and so forth. But corner, you know, there's 3 or 4 basic coverages you're going to see, and most teams are going to run, and technique-wise they're going to be very similar.
The linebackers are Hogue, Palmer, and Whitehead, by the way, as Choice skips his way inside the 30. It's one of those position battles that Rob was talking about, the backup linebacker spot.
Kevin Barnes, he had some coverage. Now watch him, he's going to come off the corner right here, take on the big guard, 6'3" Asper. Does a nice job though. He lowers his shoulder, gets underneath the block, and squeezes the hole down a little bit. If he runs outside to avoid that or lets him push him up the field, it's going to widen it and make a bit bigger running lane.
2nd down and long now for Buffalo. A draw. Choice. Close to a first down. Ricardo Silva came up and made the tackle. He's hurt yet again. Looks to be like the same shoulder, Rob. Made a big hit on a kickoff coverage. A big hit here. Will he be out? Stick around to find out. Ricardo Silva on the Detroit Lions bench. Some veterans like Cliff Averill and Eric Coleman talking to him to try and encourage him a little bit.
Yeah, if you watch what he does, he really brings it. He comes up here from the safety spot and he just flies into your pitcher in harm's way. I tell you, people don't understand. I said I never mind getting hit when I played. It never hurt. But tackling, that hurts. I mean, we saw that right there. He got the worst of it. The running back got up fine.
3rd down and 2 for Buffalo. They trailed 28-7. They scored the first 7 points of the night. Big Pen to throw. Connects. First down. Doug Hogue pushing Doran Dickerson out of bounds.
Once again, line defensive with Gunther Cunningham. Probably playing a little bit different than he would in a regular season. But it's all about getting situational football. Putting guys so you can evaluate them how they do. And they're putting Kevin Barnes in a lot of man-to-man. Thus, Doug Hogue gets locked up on the tight end Dickerson man-to-man. And Dickerson's able to get a little bit of separation and run the short out, move the chains.
Doug Hogue, a totally different approach in the offseason. 8 totally different. Exercise totally different. And went to Vegas for the first time ever. I don't know if that helped him or not. First down for Big Pen. For the corner, incomplete. Justin Miller was trailing Derek Hagan. That's 6 if the throw's in the right area.
By formation, they're going to go trips to the left of Big Pen, which puts Justin Miller on an island with Hagan all by himself to the right. That's pretty well thrown ball. Hagan's got to adjust. That's just two guys that don't get a lot of reps together. Tyler Thigpen and Derek Hagan. Obviously, the ones who can get majority of the reps during training camp.
On the ground, nothing doing. Boy, Palmer made a nice play, and so did Everett Brown. Two-minute warning in the opening half here in Detroit with the Lions in front, 28-7 on 7.
Tonight's game summary brought to you by the Ford Motor Company. The starting unit got it going in the first quarter there. Matthew Stafford finding Kelvin Johnson. We've seen a lot of that in the past, and hopefully more this year. Then Mikel LaShore. Mikel was able to take it in from a couple yards out from Sean Hill. And then Sean Hill gets into the act. The old man gets a little bit of air there, Matt. Gets up and then he celebrates the only way he can. And then Jonte Green for the defense with the pick 6.
Third down and 11 for Buffalo. 10th play of the drive. Thigpen to throw. Short-armed it. Intended for Ruvell Martin. Martin from Saginaw Valley State. Played his high school ball in Muskegon Catholic Central, where he was an all-stater in football and basketball. Also played baseball and a little bit of tennis, Rob. It's good for the footwork, I guess, huh?
I believe he was in Detroit for a little bit in training camp with the Lions. He got a year or so with the Packers. He's bounced around a little bit in the NFL.
Yep, Seattle, Atlanta, and Green Bay. Ryan Lindell to attempt a 30-yard field goal. 81% in his career. No problem. 28-10, Lions in front of Chan Gailey and the Bills with 1:52 left in the half. Here's what's coming up on the Wallside Windows halftime report. Tom Lydon talks to head coach Jim Schwartz. Gets his thoughts on the first 30 minutes of play. Highlights and stats from the opening half. And, of course, the Hall of Famer Charlie Sanders will join the birthday boy Tom Lydon with his perspective. He's happy. Believe us, he's happy. John Potter will kick it deep for Buffalo. Again, no one has returned one of his kicks in the preseason so far. No one from Washington, Minnesota, or Pittsburgh. And so far, no one from Detroit either. Well, are you ready? Lions Premium Club season tickets, in addition to single game suite rentals, are still available for the 2012 season. Visit DetroitLions.com, or you can call them 313-262-2012. 1:52 remaining in the opening half. Mikel LaShore to the left of Kellen Moore. He gets the call. And as soon as he got it, he was dropped. No gain. Chance for Kellen Moore and the Lions to run the hurry up. The throw, Broyles with a grab on the slant route at the 26-yard line right in front of Justin Rogers.
That's what Ryan Broyles does well. He's not very big. He's very quick, good hands, extremely intelligent, understands the passing game and what Scott Linehan and this offense is trying to get done.
Second round pick out of Oklahoma. Now Moore slings it out. Nice comeback route by Patrick Edwards to pick up the first down.
Kellen Moore showing his strength. That's accuracy and timing. We saw Chad Pennington play quite a few years in the NFL.
Sure.
Not a very strong arm quarterback, a very bright quarterback. He can anticipate routes. He understood it. He just had to release the ball a little bit quicker. It's been done. Brian Sipe played for the Cleveland Browns. You're not a very strong arm quarterback. You just have to read things a little quicker and get rid of the ball quicker if you're going to try to survive in this league.
Moore looks right now, throws left. Edwards, nice adjustment, but he dropped it. Might have been a whale to catch.
Patrick Edwards, to me, on that go route, Matt, it's a fade stop. If they read man, if the cornerback is on his high side, he's got to run. He's got to run a outside stop. Kellen Moore reads the corner as playing him high, and Patrick just doesn't read it quick enough, doesn't get his head around, or else he's going to catch that ball. That's a really well thrown ball.
Patrick Edwards caught footballs from Case Keenum at Houston. I asked him the difference between him and Stafford. He kind of looked at me and said, Stafford was a lot harder. That could be, there's the pass interference. I was going to say, that could be a flag on that play, because I'll tell you what, Alex Gottlieb got mauled at midfield.
And if you're a Buffalo fan, you're playing, well, that's uncatchable, but it's an illegal contact. You don't have to call interference, because he got hit 12, 14 yards down the field. The ball was 5 yards away.
Defensive pass interference, number 53, first down.
And now the Buffalo fans might see the replay here and say, well, geez, he couldn't catch this ball. He's going to be right on your right here. He's going to come right down the middle of the field. Let it go. And it's no, he's curling to the inside. Now, to me, that's not really catchable. I think they could have hit him with the illegal chuck. But when he's curling to the inside, the linebacker, Nigel Bradden, was going outside.
LaSure had a seam for a moment, got a nice block from Boyles, and then saves the timeout by going out of bounds at the 45. It's a smart play.
Yeah, Michael was probably saying, man, there's a lot more room out here with the twos in the game than there was with the ones in the game.
Remember last week, Taiwan Jones of Oakland.
So delay, he's going to bounce it back to the outside. He got caught on the wrong side there, bounces it to the edge, showing that speed once again, Matt. And I didn't know he was quite that quick a foot. I thought he was more of a pounder.
Second down and 4. Pressure comes. Moore dumps it off to LaSure, and it's incomplete.
And he's a little bit tired. You see Michael LaSure a little bit tired there. But this is what they want to see. They want to see him in the running game, the inside running game, the outside running game, and the passing game. Last week he was unable to pick up Tollefson, the outside linebacker for the Raiders, who actually put the hit on Matthew Stafford. Right. He dove at the feet a little bit. Coached up hard this week on keeping your base, keeping your head up. Well,
Jim Schwartz said Michael LaSure ran aggressively. He took the fight to Oakland. He liked that about him. He's done that against Buffalo here tonight. Moore sets and throws, and it's dropped. Maurice Stovall had a first down.
Excellent job in that drive by Kellen Moore. He did nothing wrong. A couple drop balls that made the drive fizzle out. We talked about his accuracy. We've seen that. It's just a crossing route by Stovall's going to go right across the middle of the field, and that ball is right in front of the big receiver. Now that's 2. He had a chance to make a touchdown in the end zone. He's one of the guys we talked about, Matt. He hasn't done enough this camp to lose a job. He has to do something in this game, I think, to try to win a job.
It's the first punt of the night for Detroit. Ryan Donahue with Ben Graham in a battle for that position. High floating kick. Fair catch made at the 12-yard line or so by Leotis McKelvin. You know, it's not a glamorous position. It's not a sexy position, but you got to have one. And right now, Ryan Donahue and Ben Graham, I mean, it's kind of a coin flip. What do you think?
Well, I really don't have an opinion on which one I'm going to keep, because I might actually look on the waiver wire. I mean, we saw Nick Harris was released earlier this week. Lion fans remember Nick Harris. Maybe not the leg strength of a Ryan Donahue as far as the hang time, but I think he was a little more consistent. Ryan Donahue came in here last year as a rookie at Iowa, thinking this was once he got the job. I think he kind of sat on his laurels. He needs to get better and keep improving. He has a leg strength. He just needs to develop more consistency.
Well, Jim Schwartz said this week, we just haven't punted very well. I mean, he said it flat out to us earlier this week in practice. Have not punted very well. It's got to get better. Ben Graham might get his shot in the second half.
Well, it's hard to evaluate these two punters because they're totally different styles.
Right. They are.
Ben Graham is that Australian rules football. He kicks every punt end over end like a kickoff. Ryan Donahue's one of the old school, likes to kick the spiral in the air, get the hang time, drive them back. So it's hard to compare stats as far as gross punting. Graham's gross punting will never be as good as Donahue's, but his net should be as good.
And both are really good at placing it inside the 20. And I know you put a great value on that statistic if you want to read into statistics at all. So the Lions lead it at the break. They're up 28-10. Tom Lydon has head coach Jim Schwartz, brought to you by the Detroit Medical Center.
Thank you, Matt. Coach, your team last year showed a knack for responding when they fell behind. They did it again today. What's your takeaway from this first half?
It doesn't overcome that first drive on defense. That was poor. But after that, they did a nice job. Got some nice plays out of our special teams, and our offense capitalized on them.
How about Michael LaSure? You've been able to see him in a little bit of space today. You happy with what you've seen there?
It's been a long time since we've seen him. He got a little taste last week, and he's carrying the load this week. He's done some really good things. His best run might have been a run for about 1 or 2 yards when I made that guy miss about 4 yards deep in the backfield.
Anything you look for specifically in this second half?
Well, a lot of guys competing for roster spots. We're looking for efficiency in all three phases, but we're looking for individual performance.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate it. That's head coach Jim Schwartz. Matt, back up to you.
Tom, good insight. We appreciate it very much. Shortly, it'll be Tom and Hall of Famer Charlie Sanders breaking down the opening half. Sean Hill leaping over for a touchdown. How about that for the big fella? And Michael LaSure put on a show as well. Detroit's up by 18 on WXYZ Channel 7. And welcome back to the Wallside Windows Halftime Report alongside Rob Rubik. I'm Matt Shepard. Lions in front of the Bills 28-10. Impressive for Detroit offensively, Rubes. Defensively, Jim Schwartz told Tom Lydon a little disappointed on that very first drive.
Yeah, because he had, I would say, 8 or 9 of the starters in the game that'll probably be playing opening day for this team. And it just wasn't very impressive.
Tom Lydon's on the sidelines. Tom?
Thanks, Matt. One of the captains of the team joins me, Dominic Raiola. The preseason's almost over. For a vet like you, that has to sound good.
That's a relief. You know, I was ready to get to week 1, but, you know, you can't. Jim always harps on, you know, taking it day by day, and that's what we did, and finally it's over.
Tell me what you've seen from Matthew, because the first-team offense, in my opinion, has been extremely efficient throughout this preseason.
You know, I think his hard work in the offseason is, you know, coming to the light. You know, he looked better. You know, he came into this year with a little chip on his shoulder, and for what, I don't know. But you know, I like it. You know, and he looks great. I mean, moving around great, and I mean, it's the best I've seen him this early in the season.
Every preseason's a little bit different. What's your takeaway from this training camp? These 4 games. Every team has its own signature.
You know, I think we're a team that you know, did exactly what we're supposed to do in the preseason. You know, like I said, work on something every single day, and, you know, just stack those days up, and you know, finally we're ready to go, you know, during the regular season now. So I think, you know, we did everything we wanted to do.
Good stuff. Matt, all you got to do is look in his eyes, and you know a guy like this is ready for September 9th in the St. Louis Rams. Back upstairs to you.
Good stuff, Tom. Thank you very much. 172 career games played by Dominic Raiola. All right, fans, it's time for the Lucido Fine Jewelers second half kickoff return. If Nate Hughes or Lance Long for the Lions returns this kickoff for a touchdown, Michael Beasley from Detroit will win a $5,000 shopping spree at Lucido Fine Jewelers. If you'd like a chance to win $5,000, visit WXYZ.com/Lucido and register. Watch each preseason game here on Channel 7 and the 4 Lions Report during the regular season. How about insightful at the half? Jim Schwartz with Tom Lydon. I said, and a shot of him, hey, he's happy. He focuses on what this first-team defense did, and he didn't like that first drive, Rubes.
No, he didn't. Coaches will coach. They will give you a little bit of fluff, but mostly they're going to tell you what they see. And it's all the good stuff. They expect that. It's all the stuff that wasn't so good that sticks in their mind, and that they're going to coach up hard this coming week.
Nate Hughes, the first one to attempt to return a kick off John Potter's right foot, and he gets to about the 18 or 19-yard line. And here comes Kellen Moore. He'll play the entire second half.
I was surprised that we saw as much of Michael LaSure in the first half as we did, but then again, young man's been in 2 training camps. He's only played in 3 series last week at Oakland.
Right.
If he's going to be called upon coming the 3rd game of this season to split time with Kevin Smith and carry a lot of this load, he better get in shape, and this is the best way to do it.
We asked him after the game against Oakland this week, what was your thought? He said, well, the speed of the game is something that you just can't understand until you're out there. So maybe he's getting a better feel for it as well. That pass is incomplete, intended for Patrick Edwards.
When you play high school football, everything happens at a certain speed, and you go at the college level, and they get speeded up. And then you get to the professional level, and you think, wow, college is really fast. And then this is just a whole nother level where when you're a receiver, you know when you catch that ball, you have everybody flexing, because 9 out of 10 times, the defensive back's going to hit you because they close so quickly. The timing is so imperative at this level.
Offset eye behind Moore and LaSure. It does help that Michael LaSure is really one of the few guys you can go to. There's Keelan Williams, there's Joyke Bell. Outside of that, your choices are limited. Detroit, when they took the roster from 90 down to 75 in its current state, they cut Stephon Green, the rookie running back out of Penn State.
Yeah, and you know, and people say, man, he had a 70-some yard run in one game
against Baltimore.
Against Baltimore in the 2nd preseason game. What great speed. But he was a little bit of a one-trick pony. In other words, he had that really good speed, but he didn't have much shake. He didn't have any strength inside. And they already have stuff, you know, Stephon Logan they can use in that situation as a back outside, as a receiver at the backfield. They need someone who can bang a little bit more, and the 3 they have left in camp can do that.
3rd down and 8 more. And that's incomplete. And Detroit goes 3 and out on the opening drive of the 2nd half. It's intended for Austin Wells. So Ben Graham will punt it away for Detroit. Ryan Donahue, the other punter in competition, got 1 opportunity in the opening half. And now Graham, who has 9.9 punts, I should say, on the preseason, and has put 4 inside the 20, by the way. Fair catch at the 36, and that's where Buffalo will start their first offensive possession of the 2nd half, trailing Detroit 28-10.
Here's tonight's big picture play of the half, brought to you by Gardner White Furniture. It's something we've seen a lot of in the past few seasons. That's Matthew Stafford to Kelvin Johnson. We got a 6'5" target like this, Shep. You got to like your chances, and you're a quarterback like Matthew Stafford, a strong-arm guy, throw between the safety and the corner. He gets in the seam, and to finish it off, he gives a young man a football, a great souvenir from a preseason game, courteous of Kelvin Johnson.
24-yard pitch and catch from Matthew Stafford to Calvin Johnson. Johnson's 2nd preseason touchdown grab. And they're ready for the regular season. And they look, I mean, Tom Lydon talked to Dominic Raiola about it at the break. They look like they're in sync.
Number 87, 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
Kevin Brock, the guilty Buffalo party. They look like they're in sync. They spent some time in the offseason down in Atlanta. It helps when, you know, you're used to the same area, those two. One Georgia Tech.
You know, Matthew Stafford came out of college a year early, and one of the knocks was that maybe his maturity level wasn't quite ready for the NFL. Well, he's proven that he has not only worked on his skill set, but has the maturity, because right now he shows all the leadership you look for in a young quarterback, and he's only going to get better, Matt. His ability and his leadership as he progressed through the next few seasons.
Ronell Lewis helped out by the coverage sack there.
Thigpen wants to get rid of the ball. He's forced to tuck it, and we talked about last week. You tuck the ball in the NFL as a quarterback, you take one long swing and you have to pull it down. There's a good chance you're not going to get out of danger. The pressure's going to get to you. They close on Thigpen, set up a 2nd down and long for the Bills.
Lewis, a 4th-round draft pick out of Oklahoma.
Great motor. Great motor. I know we use it all the time, but he has it not only in the game, in practice, going on and off the field in practice. He's kind of taken Kyle Vanden Bosch as a role model and is really emulating him.
It's not a bad idea, is it? They get back to the original line of scrimmage. Tom Lydon is on the sidelines. Tom?
You know, you guys were talking about Ronell Lewis. I actually had lunch with him yesterday during the kickoff luncheon and talked about what it's been like for him to make this transition to the pros. And one thing that's been really helpful is that 2 of his college teammates are also rookies on the squad. They were drafted as well, Travis Lewis and Ryan Broyles, so they've done a lot of hanging out. The one thing he said stood out is that he can't get over how many of his defensive linemen are so good with the media. Vanden Bosch, Sue, Willie Young, Cliff Averill. He's like, I'm not as good a talker as those guys. I'm going to let them do the talking.
But he can eat, can he?
Oh, yeah.
My guess is he ate more than you.
He did. We were upstairs, though. We were in the cheap seats last night. That's where they put all the rookies. Well, it was nice to talk to him.
Listen, he's used to it. I mean, he comes from a small town near Henrietta, Oklahoma. Flag on the play, obviously.
Defensive pass interference, number 47.
That's
First
against
down.
Carmen Messina, who's actually had a nice camp. But Ronell Lewis, small town, Henrietta, Oklahoma, raised on a farm with horses, grew up with rodeos, you know, the bulls and the horses and things of that nature. His dad was his high school football coach, and Rob, he played 8-man football. Now, we've seen guys in the past play 8-man football before, and he's another one to come along. Casey Fitzsimmons, of course. Was that in North Dakota for 50?
Montana.
Montana, all right.
The pride of Helena.
Thigpen. And he's got it complete. Pickup of about 7 or 8 to Rubel Martin. Jonte Green on the coverage.
We talked in the open about Doug Hogue maybe being that linebacker that possibly is on the bubble. This time he gets a tough cover. He's got Rubel Martin in the slot as a linebacker covering a wide receiver. That's a tough call. Got to use your bigger body, try to get on him a little bit within the legal zone, make a little contact, disrupt him, and shadow him.
Built up that body a little bit in the offseason, running hills, running ladders. Thigpen on a play action. Deep drop down the middle of the field. Martin has got it at the 30-yard line. Good catch.
Rubel celebrating a little bit. Jonte Green on the coverage. It was pretty good coverage right on the back hip. They run the play action, the short boot. Called this the waggle. And they drag Rubel Martin all the way underneath. Jonte Green, as I said, was there. He just couldn't get a hand on the ball. So Rubel Martin's one of those receivers right now for the Bills that's on their bubble.
Good sized target, 6'4", 215, a little slight. White the lone setback for Buffalo. And movement up front. Andre Llewellyn.
I had a chance to talk to Andre last week after the game in Oakland, and I said, man, you were getting off the ball. I said, were you guessing? He said, no, I'm just quick, Rube. I said, come on now. I said, there's quick. And I said, you were beating both guards out of the snap, and they knew the snap count. Well, I think he might have guessed this time.
Did he get something in his face mask when he made that flinch? It sure looked like it.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 96, 15 yards, first down.
Right over the center here,
Watch
the
what
guard.
happens here.
He's able to get down.
See something hanging out of his face mask there for a moment? Tough to get a look there.
Yeah, you can get that quick start, take that 5-yard penalty, but you don't want that 15-yard. You can't touch the quarterback.
Oh, there it is. It's the skull cap right there. Just kind of slid down, didn't it?
I never saw it. That's why I avoided answering your question. But yeah, Andre, you can't finish the play like you can jump. It's a 5-yarder. It's a mistake, but you just can't bury that quarterback. It's going to be automatic 15.
Especially when you're fighting for a roster spot like he is. I mean, that's a deep position for this club.
Tough position.
Incomplete with White. Doug Hogue said hello. Johnny White will remember that play.
Well, this looks like a completed pass. Thigpen has White right in the slot. He's going to break across the middle of the field, but excellent timing by Hogue, arriving as the ball is and going through the receiver. And what White did, Matt, is he let the ball get into his body. Get your hands, we talk about this all the time, but get your hands out. Use that as a shock absorber to bring the ball in away from your body and away from the defender.
It really is a great lesson for young wide receivers. 2nd down and 10. White the lone setback to the right of Thigpen. Looks left, throws, caught inside the 5 and close to the pylon for 6. They'll call him out of bounds right around the 1-yard line.
Well, Kamir Akin, he gets the ball. You see, it looks like his left might even stepped out. His right definitely steps back on the 2-yard line, although the ball was up on the 1-yard line where his body was. But I thought he may even step back out on the 7 or 8. We get another look at that.
Well, they mark it at the 1-yard line. So first and goal for Buffalo. This is Johnny White. No problem.
Tracy Robertson got a great takeoff from the number 60 from the defensive tackle position. Got into the backfield, but just could not get Johnny White. To the left of the center. Look, him comes basically untouched. Loses his base a little bit. It's hard to blame a defensive tackle because you're really root hogging in there, Matt. You're coming out, you're digging low, you're working your way up. He loses his base, and Johnny White's able to just step into the end zone.
It's just the 5th touchdown of the preseason for the Buffalo offenses.
Now, do you throw Johnny White in your dreads contest as well?
You have to, don't you? Jonte Green is in it. Stephon Gilmore is in it. Ryan Lindell sure isn't. I can tell you that. But he connects on the extra point and pulls Buffalo to within 11. It's 28-17 Lions. Tyler Thigpen 9 of 17 for 90 yards now in the game. He leads Buffalo to a scoring strike in the 3rd, and they get to within 11. Of Detroit, it's 28-17.
Although this is a preseason game, and Jim Schwartz going off at halftime, we knew that he was, complaining about a few things with the starting defense, but overall, he was pretty happy. I guarantee it, they allow Buffalo to come back in this game, and some reason they lose this game. I know it doesn't count towards their record.
Right.
It's going to leave a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth heading into the regular season. He will not be happy.
Now the return attempt for Nate Hughes. Just past the 15. Take a timeout with 10.5 remaining in the 3rd, and Detroit's still in front.
We'll be back to Ford Field. It's 28-17 with 10:30 to go. Tom Lydon reporting for you here down by the sidelines. I'd like to remind you that if you can join us, please, on Action News at 7 throughout the season every Thursday night. I'll be talking with Ndamukong Suh, and we are looking forward to having him join us. He's a very interesting guy who is unique in many ways. I don't think I've ever seen a defensive tackle be as marketed across the country as Ndamukong has been since the days of Reggie White. And he has a lot of unique talents, Matt and Rob. One of them is that, read it in the magazine, he has a visual memory. He looks at something, he's got a photographic memory. He can see it, and that's how he memorized his game plans.
I tried to see if he would go to the casino with me. I mean, that would really help me at the blackjack table. But I'm not inside that inner circle like you are, Tom Lydon. There's a fumble by Joique Bell. Oh, boy. We talked about it last week against Oakland when he came in. As a matter of fact, Tom had brought it up. 1,128 carries at Wayne State. Only 8 fumbles in 4 years. He fumbled against Baltimore. He fumbled here tonight. Rob, if you want to punch your ticket out of town,
yes.
running back, put it on the cover.
The shame is this is an effort play.
Right.
He gets hit about 4 or 5 yards. He keeps working, and that allows the Buffalo defenders to close on him. Instead of being tackled by one, you got 3, 4 guys. The ball gets punched out. A good hustle by, I think, Alex Gottlieb, number 49. The tight end's going to come in here, not quitting on the play, and he's able to pick up the fumble. Joique Bell's going to drop a gift in his locker. Hopefully, they're both still around.
Bell again. Drives to the 11. Joique Bell, the Harlan Hill winner in 2009, where he led the nation in rushing. And the Harlan Hill Trophy, of course, the equivalent in D2 to the Heisman Trophy in D1. 8 career games played in the NFL, Indy and Philadelphia.
You know, and his teammate last year, well, it wouldn't have been last year, but Joe Long from Wayne State won the Upshaw Award, which is like the Outland in Division I.
Yeah, Wayne State with a great season last year, reaching the championship game. Coming more across the middle through the hands of Lance Long. Lance Long led Detroit in receptions last week at Oakland with 5 grabs.
Not Lance's first time playing in here. High school for Utica Eisenhower, he played in the state championship game, and this is the crossing route. Another well-thrown ball. Kellen Moore has really done a nice job at the quarterback position. Lance did everything right. He came flat. He even came back downhill a little bit on the crossing route, so the safety could not run underneath it, and he just could not come up with the catch.
So usually very sure-handed. Now Ryan Donahue, so an alternating punting battle. Donahue, then Graham, now Donahue again. This one is short. It's high, but it's short. Fair catch made at the 47-yard line. Let's see what Buffalo can do with it. They trail by 11 after the 35-yard boot from Donahue. A lot of guys, they're on that proverbial bubble. Not Ryan Broyles, not Nate Burleson. Sure isn't Matt Stafford. Right now, Kellen Moore talking things over with offensive coordinator Scott Linehan. They can't take any type of break. Andre Fluellen, it's a numbers battle inside on that defensive line.
You know, Kellen Moore, we've talked about how well he's thrown the ball as far as his accuracy tonight, but how about the offensive line, the twos that are in there? A lot of time, really not pressured much in the pocket the entire evening.
Yeah, I think Riley Reif and Jason Fox have had very good camps. Yep. Yeah. And they played well here tonight. Corey McIntyre's into the game. He was 38 in white. Johnny White stutter steps his way. Mad miss. Got past the 40 for a first down. That's a whale of a run right there.
You know, Alfonso Smith had a chance to get Johnny White in the open field, and he gets olayed. It's going to be just to the right. He's going to bounce outside. It's designed to go left, but he sees the cutback in the hole. Filling doing a good job. I think was that Spivey 42. And then Alfonso in open space. You've got to make that play. You've got to break down. And Alfonso Smith's one of those guys coming into camp who was thought to be fighting for the starting job along with Aaron Berry. Then Aaron Berry got released, and Alfonso has really fell down the depth chart.
Yeah, well, Bill Bentley has kind of seized that momentum. The rookie out of Louisiana Lafayette. Thigpen has a man open down the middle. He's got him inside the 20-yard line. Nice throw by Tyler Thigpen and a nice grab by Marcus Easley.
Thigpen getting a lot of reps in this game and really improving as the game has gone on. This time, just a straight drop back, a good release, easily getting underneath, and that's Alfonso Smith making the break. Now, that's not necessarily his fault. It looks like he was in a zone sitting back over the top of Carmen Messina, the linebacker, and that's a well-thrown ball by Tyler Thigpen. Justin Miller, though, replacing Alfonso.
Smith standing right next to Tim Walton. He's the defensive backs coach. That's a back shoulder throw and a good one. It's caught by Alkin. He's the one who almost scored just prior to the half.
Alfonso Smith was just pulling. We're going to watch this. Alkin gets outside, and this once again. That's almost an impossible route to defend. Justin Miller in position.
Don't you have to turn your head there?
You do, but in that situation, you're playing fade as well. That's why that route should be illegal if I'm a defensive back. I'm going to politic to get that taken out because that's almost impossible because you're thinking fade, you're thinking go, and if you're going to turn your head, it's going to be back to the inside. Well, if you turn the inside, that ball's going to be thrown the outside shoulder, you're in trouble. It's just really, if it's thrown well, it's really tough to defend.
Thigpen for the end zone. Touchdown, Buffalo. Doran Dickerson on the receiving end of that TD pass, although there is a flag on the play.
Pass interference, number 36 of the defense. That penalty will be declined. Touchdown.
Well, it's been a mixed bag. That's what you said. Jonte Green, 50-50. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's not so good.
Yeah, and this time, and Doug Hogue does a pretty good job from the linebacker. He's between a rock and a hard place, trying to stay with Dickerson. But you see, Jonte Green was on the underneath route,
right, and
that's where he got the interference call. It wasn't when he was falling off it. It was early on. He was jamming the receiver when the ball was in the air.
Ryan Lindell, second all-time in Buffalo history in points. To Steve Christie, he bangs it through, and just like that, Buffalo has responded. They're now within 4 at Ford Field on WXYZ, Channel 7. Past the midway point of the third, Detroit up now 28-24 here on WXYZ Channel 7. Lions, of course, will open a week from Sunday right here at home against St. Louis. Our pregame show, by the way, starts at 11 a.m. and then it's back-to-back road trips. San Francisco, an 8:30 kick out west, then Tennessee, and then division play begins. Home against Minnesota. It is not an easy schedule. You see just a couple of home games in the first 6. And then you get, you know, a couple of back-to-back road games. We talked about San Francisco and Tennessee, and then you looked at it a little bit later on, and you're on the road, including a game at Chicago. And here's the second half of the season. They do finish with back-to-back home tilts against Atlanta and Chicago, so that's always a plus if things are interesting down the stretch.
And the game you see is at Green Bay, where the Lions haven't won since I think I was in high school. No. But they've struggled at Lambeau Field. But the rest of the road games in the second half looked like they could be winnable. And obviously, every game when you're a team like the Lions are, you can win.
throws and connects. Wells gets the first down.
This is an important drive right here for this Lions offense. Not towards winning the game, but they've sputtered here in the second half where Buffalo's offense has gone up and down the field. And this is going to be the boot. A little play action to the right. Moore's going to roll to his natural side, which is his left. He finds Austin Wells just leaking into the flat. Once again, you know, I don't want to belabor a point, but I think Kellen Moore he's impressed me. You know, you go to practice, he's not overly impressive because he doesn't have the arm strength. You watch Matthew Stafford or even Sean Hill. Sure. But he is very accurate. Now that's unimpeded. They got to blow that play dead. And that's the substitute officials got to do a better job. They got to get that play done quickly.
It's Alex
They
Carrington.
will get a quarterback hurt. But you watch him in practice, he doesn't wow you. But in the game, he's pretty accurate. He's managing the game well and making all the throws he
Zone
needs.
infraction, number 92, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Well, Carrington is a good start, and he kind of had the Andre Fluellen start that time, getting into the backfield before the ball was snapped, and the officials got to be quick to the whistle. You get someone injured.
Carrington in his third year out of Arkansas State. More with a give to Jake Bell. Boy, there's no running room there whatsoever. Jerron Gilbert swallowed him up. Gilbert with the Jets in 09. He was with Chicago, so he's looking for a home. He's hoping this is it.
Well, they're running outside zone that time, and Jake Bell, his job is to get the ball, stretch the defense, get down the line of scrimmage, look for that seam, and then get into it. The problem with that play was there really was no seam. The defensive line moved together well down the line and got push of the Lions offensive line into the backfield. Forced some Bell to bubble, and there was nowhere to go.
Loss of 2 on the play. Blitz comes. Lions pick it up. Moore slings it out. Bell's got it. First down and Moore. Nice block by Hughes. Up the sidelines and pushed out of bounds or close to it at the 31-yard line.
That play had me fooled a little bit. I'm looking at Kellen Moore. It looks like he's looking to his left. He's kind of comes out and looks out to his left a little bit here, but there's no receivers. They're all to the other side, and he throws back, and Bell's able to leak into the flat, show a little bit of burst getting down the sidelines and lower the shoulder. For a good game for this Lions offense. I said, Matt, they really need to put some points on the board this drive because second half they haven't done very well.
Well, if nothing else, move the chains a little bit, and they've done that so far. A pickup of 32. Now Bell on the ground, waiting, but nothing materializes. And he's rolled over shy of the 30-yard line.
And Jake Bell's right now saying, Coach Linehan, do you not just see that 32-yard gain I ran? You call my number again? And coach would say, you trying to make this team, son? Run it. Joik will take every carry. You can get every opportunity he can to try to make this club.
Especially when you're in college, he's used to getting the football a lot. Guys like that rhythm. Empty backfield, Moore, quick throw. Lance Long was running that quick slant. That's one of the poorer passes that Kellen Moore has thrown all preseason.
Yeah, it looks that way, but that could be like a hot or a purple call, whatever you want to name it as a coordinator, where if the slot receiver is uncovered, the safety's 10 to 12 yards off, and there's no one, it's automatic catch or snap by the quarterback and throw it right away. And Kellen let it go earlier than Lance Long was looking at.
Detroit 4 for 9 on third down conversions on this Thursday night. There's Moore's numbers, but sometimes a little deceiving. He'll throw for it. A screen. Bell. Oh, read beautifully. That's Tank Carter. Great name, huh? Tank Carter read it as well as you can. The rookie out of TCU. A former BMX world champion in France at the age of 9. Competed for 6 years.
He got on his wheels.
He rolled there, didn't he?
He got on his wheels and he beat the block. That time he had Rodney Austin out there with Dylan Gandy. He's able to split both offensive linemen and get Joik Bell before he could get going. And Jason Hamps will be called out for a long 51-yard field goal.
Missed it. Crowd thought it was good. Hansen gives a long stare. Remember, he's the first player in NFL history with 50 50-yard field goals.
End zone look. Plenty of length. Just kind of pulls it to the left a little bit.
Barely, yeah. Just a little bit wide, just like Delman Young's attempted homer the other night, huh?
Yeah, I could have swore that was good for the first 5 times I saw it until they finally showed you one view.
Yeah, I know.
Taylor Thigpen, quarterback for the Bills, having fun right now with this offense. Really throwing the ball at will up and down the field.
And around. This is T.J. Graham. Stiff-armed his way, but Green stuck with him. Got some support from Alfonso Smith, and they knocked him out of bounds.
We got on Alfonso Smith a little bit early on. If we can get a look, you're going to watch him come right into this lane. 27, let it go from the sea. He comes up like a bullet and forces Rubel Martin to try to push him inside, which allows Jonte Green to come outside and make the play. So you read something quickly, boy, you're a fast football player, because it makes everything happen quicker for the offense. And Chris Spielman was great at that. Not the fastest of foot, but he looked like a fast player because he could read things so quickly.
Blitz
make
comes.
the play break down.
Well, you know what? Stephen Boyd was similar to that.
Steve Boyd couldn't run a 4.9 hardly on roller skates, but in a football game, you make, man, that linebacker, he can flow. He can really get all these scrapes off tackles so quickly because they recognize so quickly. They read their keys so well, it makes him look like a fast player, and that's what Alfonso Smith did on that last one.
Buffalo 2 for 5 on 3rd downs. Talk about speed. T.J. Graham was a second-team All-American track star in sprinting at NC State. So he's got plenty of speed on the outside. Thigpen looks that way. Now he'll tuck it and run. Broke a tackle.
Thigpen might kind of predetermine this. He sees man coverage running off, and he tucks it quickly and goes. But the speed of this young second-string unit of the Lions, Jonte Green forces him outside a little bit, and then Alfonso Smith comes up. Doug Hogue, everyone was around that play. And finally, the Bills in the second half have to punt.
This will be Sean Powell. Not much of an opportunity to beat out Brian Mormon. But again, like you said, and the keys to the game, making a movie for somebody else. A fair catch at the 14 by Patrick Edwards. And Detroit takes over 1st and 10 with 2:17 to go in the 3rd. Hey fans, the Detroit Lions are teaming up with the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers to give you the ultimate fan experience. Be on the field just before kickoff as part of the fan tunnel during select home games throughout the regular season. It's fun, it's exciting. It allows you to be up close and personal with your favorite players and coaches. Stay tuned to future preseason opportunities for details on how to enter. Now, there are no more preseason opportunities after tonight, but during the regular season, I suppose. There's Tim Walton. He's the defensive backs coach for Detroit, talking things over with his group. We'd like to see Bill Bentley in there listening just in case, even though he's not playing. Moore, a sliding catch by Long.
Scott Linehan taking advantage of his young quarterback skills and what he does best, and that's move. We're going to watch a little play fake to the right, roll to the left. Yeah, that left-handed quarterback, he's got Gottlieb in the flat, but Lance Long does a nice job securing the catch. A lot of receivers will try to reach down and make that play, but that's difficult because your legs are there. They're moving in front of the ball, one of the hardest catches. Get the yards, then try to get up, and that's what Lance Long did.
A little bit easier for a smaller receiver to go down like that, though,
yes, right? Absolutely.
Pickup of 23. And now to the ground attack. Keelan Williams stymied and a loss of a couple.
But I've seen the strength of this Bills defense this year is going to be their defensive front as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, look at their starting unit with Mario Williams and Marcel Darius. They got some big time players.
Kyle Williams is a big guy. Mark
is
Anderson.
That the Kyle Williams that was with the Vikings?
No.
No, that's not one of the Williams brothers.
He was a Pro Bowl alternate in 2009, a Pro Bowler in 2010.
But they got some bodies, and you look at their second unit and all the way down, they're going to have some tough cuts here in this defensive front.
Pass is popped up in the air. Is that picked off? Or did it hit the ground? No, that's incomplete. Good attempt, though, by Nick Sines.
This is maybe one of the ill-advised. So it's Patrick Edwards not really open very much, trying to throw the slant route. Boy, that's pretty close.
Good call, though.
Tip of the ball on the ground. Signs make a nice play, breaking on it.
So 3rd and 10 now for Detroit. They started 4 for 6 on 3rd downs, 0 for their last 4 attempts.
And this is a situation that you can really judge your quarterback. Now this is a passing down. You're going to see a better pass rush. See how Kellen Moore handles it.
Long. Needs to get to the 47. He does. Boy, good job.
Good burst.
I do like the way he plays, don't you?
He plays with
he's a local
enthusiasm.
guy. Yeah,
I know. He's quick.
Yeah.
He gets what's there. He's not super flashy. But he ran a little in and out route, catches the ball well, and then realizes where the sticks are, heads north and south and lowers his shoulders and moves the chains.
Started his career at Toledo. He said they ran too much for me there. He always wanted to play down south, so he went and played at Mississippi State. Under 20 seconds to go in the 3rd. Moore to Edwards with a grab at the 45 of Buffalo. And he went up to get that one. And a flag on the play, too. You just hope that's not pushing off on the receiver to get separation.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 46 of the defense, 15 yards, first down.
Well, they got Isaiah Green. Patrick Edwards is going to top. Isaiah Green. Well, actually, I think they got the wrong guy. I think it was 59. They called 46. That was Scott McKillop coming in. Isaiah Green gets blamed, but you see McKillop went helmet to helmet
right
after the catch. Because if that first one was called a personal foul, we might as well put dresses on him now. Because that was just a good hit by Isaiah Green. McKillop's the one that went helmet to helmet.
Too many penalties for either head coach's liking. We still have another quarter to play. The final quarter in the final preseason game of the year. Detroit leads at 28-24. They're on the move again despite the starters sitting down. Detroit looks for more when we come back on WXYZ Channel 7. Well, the Bills scored first, and then Detroit reeled off 28 in a row. Since that time, it's been all Buffalo, 28-24. Tom Lydon is on the sidelines. Tom?
Well, here's a guy that a lot of Lions fans can pull for, because John Wendling, you've put together quite a training camp, quite a preseason, taking advantage of the opportunity, and that, I guess, is what you have to do when given an opportunity due to injury, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. You know, I've been waiting for this opportunity for a long time, and just glad I was able to take advantage of it. And, you know, we got a bunch of good guys back there to work with, so just, yeah, very thankful for it.
Tell me what you have worked on during the offseason to become more than just a special teams ace.
You know, for me, it was just being more of a DB, you know, being able to move like a DB safety. You know, nowadays it's really evolving to where you've got to be able to cover guys. You got to, you know, you got to be like a corner out there. And for me, it was just to be able to move around that in a more fluid way and to be able to accomplish that.
We talked last week during the broadcast that you don't see a lot of guys as big as you, the Steve Atwater types, the Rodney Harrison types. Tell us how you know, you're a bigger guy back there. How does that help you and hurt you?
I mean, it's a big help as far as coming down on the run, you know, delivering a blow when I need to. But, you know, it is a little tougher to move around like some of these guys that are the 190, 200s, you know, like Lewis, who can, I mean, you know, to come out of college playing as a corner, you know, those guys can move really well. And so for me to be a little bigger guy, you know, I got a lot to catch up with. So just do my best.
Good job. Nice job this preseason, too. We appreciate it, Matt.
Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Matt, that's a guy you can certainly root for. John Wendling has worked his butt off throughout this preseason.
There's no question about it, Tom. That's good stuff. You like to see good things happen to good people, and he's one of those good guys. And you know, John Wendling knew that he was going to have to make some teams as a special teamer. What did he used to do? He used to go in the film room, and he would look at one guy who was exceptional as a special teamer. That guy was Steve Tasker, and some other special team greats, but especially Steve Tasker. And John Wendling had plenty of film on him, and now he's been able to not only hone his skills as a special teamer, but also as a safety as well. 4th and 2, that means a Jason Hansen field goal attempt. We appreciate John Wendling's talking with Tom Lydon. Jason Hansen connects, and Detroit now leads at 31-24. They're up by 7 early in the 4th. 4 touchdowns and a field goal for the Lions. They lead at 31-24. The latest points courtesy of Jason Hansen. Again, our thanks to John Wendling. Our thanks to Dominic Raiola for joining Tom Lydon on the sidelines in our broadcast here tonight. And to the Lions public relations folks too for setting all this stuff up for us. Hansen to kick it away. To the 10-yard line. Good coverage again. Carmen Messina, the first one down there, but a flag on the play.
The Lions are offside on the kick. Carmen Messina, we didn't talk about him in our open mat as one of the linebackers. And the fact is, when you have a couple guys that were drafted.
Offsides on a kicking team, number 47. That 5-yard penalty tacked on to the end of the kick. First down.
And it was Carmen Messina.
A couple who were drafted ahead of you, and then another one, a young draft pick from last year. He's in a real difficult position.
Yeah.
And Buffalo choosing to make the Lions kick over. It'd be like it used to be in the NFL from the 30-yard line. But Carmen Messina's had a decent camp, sure, but it becomes a numbers game, and it's just a tough situation because you have Ashley Palmer, who's a veteran, playing ahead of that Mike linebacker who's backing up Stephen Tulloch.
Probably have some invested in Doug Hogue, who was a 5th-round pick a year ago out of Syracuse.
And sometimes these guys, if they get into a camp 1 year, like a Carmen Messina,
sure,
he can get that experience. He can sign with another team. Next year going into camp, he's so far ahead of where he started this year, that gives himself a better opportunity to make it in the second season.
Well, you know what was interesting? He told me, I mean, we talk about the speed of the game, trying to adjust. He had to get used to, you know, the workload and how to keep weight on. He's a big, strong guy, but he was losing a lot of weight in camp. So he told me he was making sure he was going lots of trips to the training table. He's eating about 4,000 calories a day, he said, to try and keep the weight on. Hansen this time from the 30. Easily from the goal line. Got a seam. Look out. Gone. No flags. Touchdown, Buffalo.
It's always to the advantage of the return team to make a team kick over, because the coverage team has to sprint all the way down the field. We're going to tell you when to let it go, and pause it right about here. You see the nice kickout block here on Messina. Let it go, then easy just gets right into the seam, uses speed, and when Jason Hansen's the only one left, he's got 25 yards of boundary, it's over. But it's such an advantage for the return team, because your return team is only running 10 or 12 yards to make their block, but the coverage team ends up sprinting 60 or 70 yards. Then they have to redo it. Any chance you got to make them re-kick? And how about Chan Gailey? We saw it in the first game of the year with Pat Shermer. The Browns going for 2.
Right.
Coaches don't want overtime any more than players do, and they want to get a chance to evaluate their 2-point situation. Go for 2 here. And
Big Pen, and Detroit's offsides. Maybe Buffalo moved.
False start.
They did.
64 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still the try.
It's against James Carmen, the rookie out of Mississippi State.
no hesitation by Chan Gailey. He's not sending out his kicker. Sends in a different play. These coaches need to get back, get evaluating personnel, make these cuts, and get on with the regular season too. So they don't want to drag this out any more than necessary. Obviously, they want to get the evaluation, but man, you're 3.5 quarters into your last preseason game. Their minds are pretty much made up.
Well, Charlie Sanders told us, look, they're going to be up until, all night. They're going to be pulling all-nighters and evaluating. Pigpen throws. It is caught. The strength, not enough. Detroit holds. No, they do give it to him. The two-point conversion is good.
It was a late,
yeah.
It was a late signal. Easily kept fighting.
Easily had the 100-yard kickoff return. Now he gets a little more sugar on the two-point conversion. Sturgis in front. They're up 32-31 thanks to that man right there, Marcus Easley. 100-yard kickoff return was legit. This, Rubes, I'm not so sure.
It's close, Matt. He makes a little bit of a surge. He doesn't stretch the ball out. Does the tip of it touch the white line? Not yet, not yet. Right about there. That's a tough call. I don't think there's enough to overturn it, Matt. It's not like he's 4 to 6 inches yet from the goal line.
I don't know. I just didn't see that. But I know what folks are saying at home. It's the preseason. It easily doesn't care as much about that, although it did show good strength by the wide receiver. He cared more about the 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Chan Gailey's club has yet to win a preseason game for what it's worth. They lost 7-6 to Washington. 36-14 they were schooled at Minnesota. And then last week pounded by Pittsburgh 38-7. Kellen Moore delivers. Joyke Bell, some room to run. Drilled at the 35.
I like Joyke Bell's style. I talked to him last week. He's like a shallow cutter. He cuts and heading north and south. He's not a guy that breaks down a lot in stutter steps. He keeps heading vertical and just makes those little slashing cuts and keeps the speed and picks up nice yardage.
Well, he'll get his chance right now to put some good stuff on film or make a case to make this ball club. You talked about it in our open about the cuts. You had guys knowing that, you know, Javid Best is on PUP, so he's out for at least the first 6 weeks. Then you've got Michael LeSure. He's suspended for the first 2 games. Stephon Logan has been injured, but he should be back and healthy. You got Keelan Williams, you got Joyke Bell, you got Kevin Smith, who's got an ankle problem. Moore connects with Long again. Into Buffalo territory.
He's quick. He's got a little bit of Wes Welker.
You're right. It's a numbers game, partner, but it's fun to watch.
He works well. Lance is going to come all the way across from the slot. Let it go. He's able to work up the field. It's a little bit of a push off, but he works well in tight quarters. The ball comes out late, and you got to hang on to that. But I like the way he can get separation. He can work man coverages. He has good feel in zone routes. Just pretty stacked against him here in Detroit. But as you said in the opening, one of the keys was to make a movie. Get on film for someone else.
More to throw again. Has a man down the seam. It's Wells to the 20.
Kellen Moore's going to have to ice his arm tonight. He's really starting to get a lot of reps.
Yeah. Second catch of the night for Austin Wells.
Austin Wells comes from the left of your screen. Tight end gets released. And that's not a very good job by Nigel Bradham. The linebacker's got to jam him, read the play. He kind of cheated. He thought it was a run, and all of a sudden he's going, oops, I was supposed to get a jam on the tight end. He did it, and Wells was able to get down the seam for a big gain.
That's either a shoulder or he just got the wind knocked out of him for falling on the football. Bell, nice move. And then he rams his way to the 12-yard line.
We talked about which one of these backs, you know, theoretically, the Lions could cut both of them. They could keep one, or they could even keep both of them, Matt. It depends on the health of Stephon Logan. Kevin Smith, watch, heads to your left. He sees the cutback. He hits it. He starts to go to the edge. He realizes there's nothing there. It's sealed, and he turns up the field and picks up a couple extra yards. An efficient runner. Joyke Bell is not a flashy runner. He doesn't have that great top-end speed, but he's very efficient. Great balance.
Moore slings it out to him. Avoids the big hit and gets to the 5.
There's that balance we were just talking about. Catches the ball well out of the backfield, really making a case for himself. Some guys have to step it up. Joyke has done that here tonight. Had the one fumble which they recovered. A little hesitation and turns it up. Good game.
Stays in as the lone setback on 1st and goal. Gets the call. Lowers the boom. Did he get to the end zone? He did. Touchdown, Joyke Bell. Well, that was a quick answer.
Off tackle left. It's a zone play. He sees the seam back inside, lowers his shoulder, gets the pad level down.
Good strength. Yeah, that's pretty close, too. These refs are in a giving mood tonight.
Pretty close. I think it's short, but this will be reviewed as all scoring plays are.
I think they're kind of picking and choosing, quite honestly. They want to look at this one. They didn't want to look at the conversion. 10:35 left. We'll see if it's good or not. Worst case scenario, it's 2nd and goal from the half-yard line, right?
Here's tonight's game summary brought to you by the Ford Motor Company. The Lions early on, Kelvin Johnson from Matthew Stafford get it rolling in the first quarter. In the first half, in the second half, it's been all Bills. Touchdown pass here to Dickerson, the tight end. Does a good job getting separation. And then the long kickoff return by Marcus Easley. After the offside penalty against the Lions, forcing Jason Hanson, that unit, to kick it again. He's able to use his speed, get down the sideline, and 6 more points for the Bills, Matt. The Bills really putting some points on the board here in the second half. Only 7 in the first half. They're able to put 10 at half and 27 more in the second half.
Now we're still waiting on the review of Joyke Bell's touchdown, or what we saw was called a touchdown. Chan Gailey's club, by the way, opens on the road against the New York Jets, a team that I don't believe, at least I know through 3 preseason games, their first team offense did not score a touchdown.
No, they've had their struggles that some other teams in the NFL have offensively. You look at the Raiders last week until they played the Lions. Carson Palmer, that first team offense, had not scored. Getting back, I said the Bills, they've had 22 points. They had 10 at half. So they'll be able to get 22 here in the second half. Still waiting on the official ruling. I know.
Time. I mean, this is just brutal.
Well, these substitute officials may realize this might be their last gig.
Well, the substitute officials they're going to ref week 1. That's already been
determined. The field has been reversed. The ball carrier was down at the 4-inch line. 2nd down.
It is actually the right call.
I thought he might have been a little bit short from the angle we had, but still nice effort by Joyke Bell. And the Bills defense hit him. First of the signs. Gets help from his friends there, and the ball never really quite gets his arms between the ball and the goal line.
Well, you would assume Joyke Bell's going to get it here too, wouldn't you? I mean, that's what you'd be keying on, I would think. Oh, good play action. Good job by Kellen Moore. Fooled everybody, especially the guys in the white uniforms.
You got me. I was looking at Joyke Bell heading off the right side.
That was well done.
Bring him back to his Boise State days here. Watch a play fake. Really buries his head and shoulders in there a little bit, pulls it out. And Robert Edens, a defensive end, Robert Edens rather, gets just sucked down inside and just walks in the end zone. Well, that's not even fair. You're on the 4-inch line. You're on a quarterback boot. That's tough on the defensive end.
You know, it's one thing with the quarterback selling, but the tailback has to sell it too. Joyke Bell did a nice job of selling the fake as well. So Detroit does finalize the touchdown, the drive, with an exclamation point courtesy of Kellen Moore, although Joyke Bell did a lot of the grunt work on that drive, and now the Lions are up 38-32. His 2 college teammates right there. You saw Titus Young and with a headband, and Kellen Moore. They connected on plenty of touchdown passes in Boise.
Say what you want about Kellen Moore, but young man won
50 games, 50 out of 53.
Yeah, in college. And I don't care if you're playing the Sisters of the Poor every week. That's tough to win 50 games.
Plenty of Boise State fans here. I don't think Tom Lyden's a Boise State fan, are you, Tom?
Sure makes, I'm not mad, but it sure makes a lot of sense. These Boise State fans are in the state of Michigan because the Broncos take on Michigan State tomorrow night. So they got a couple of bus loads to go from East Lansing to Detroit. And think about it, they don't really get a chance to see a lot of NFL games.
That's a good point.
So I think the closest team is Seattle. So they really got to make a road trip to see the Seahawks, or maybe the Broncos might be on their radar. So a lot of Bronco fans are here tonight. Then they're going to be in East Lansing tomorrow for the game against Michigan State. They get to see Kellen Moore score a touchdown here. I'm sure they would have liked to see Titus Young, but they'll take a touchdown from Kellen.
That's really cool. It really is. I mean, good football for us here in the state of Michigan this weekend. Still on his feet is T.J. Graham. But you get Detroit here tonight. You get Michigan State against Boise State, Kellen Moore's alma mater. Tomorrow night in East Lansing. Then, of course, Michigan plays Alabama in Dallas Saturday night. There's Moore's numbers on the night so far.
What do you have? Maybe 3 drops, Matt? I think I saw in the first half. So, he
sounds
about
17.
Right. Yeah, 17 for 27. Pretty respectable numbers. He's managed the game well. He's done a good job in the play-action game and in the boot game, getting outside, throwing on the run. And Scott Linehan obviously has utilized his being a left-handed quarterback to roll it most of the times to his left.
Well, Scott Linehan says he has great command of the offense. He knows the offense. Thick pen throws. He's familiar with the Buffalo offense. They're going to call that a catch in front of Kevin Barnes. Although, I'm a little surprised there is a flag on the play. A little surprised we haven't seen Tavares Jackson yet.
Roughing the passer, number 97, 15 yards from the end of the completion. First down.
Cornell, a very enthusiastic player, but sometimes you have to curb your enthusiasm, right?
All right, Larry
We're going
David.
to see here. Tyler Thigpen lets the ball go. Yeah, and don't as soon as you lower that helmet at all, as soon as it goes down, your chin goes to your chest, they're going to hit you. And right now we'll learn that. It's, college you get away with more. You can hit the quarterback a little bit more. You get to this level, quarterbacks are the game. You don't rough the quarterback, you don't touch the quarterback, or you will be penalized 15 yards.
Big Ben up top. He's got Dickerson, and it's incomplete. Dickerson had Amari Spivey beat.
Oh, what kind of speed is that for a big tight end like Dickerson? No, he's kind of a tweener.
Yeah,
Listen, as a fullback,
yeah.
He's a tight end. He's a kind of that hybrid, 6'1", but almost 230 pounds. Shown that he can get down the field that time. Amari Spivey was playing catch-up almost the entire way.
Dickerson in his second year out of Pittsburgh. Talking with Pete Metzelars. He's the tight ends coach in Buffalo. Second down and 10. Zach Brown, the 4th running back.
You talk about being thick. Yeah, you talk about thick coming from Pittsburgh. We talk about Dickerson.
Are you a little surprised we haven't seen Tavares Jackson yet?
Well, he's only been in town a couple days.
Right.
We had a chance to talk to Ray Bentley and Steve Tasker from the Buffalo broadcast team, and they said he only been a couple 3 days. He really wasn't prepared. That they weren't going to get much of an evaluation if they played him, Matt. So why risk injury or anything else? They'll get a good enough look at him. Probably this week they're going to keep him.
Big Pen throws, and it's incomplete. Kevin Barnes broke on the pass and knocked it away, and it's 4th down for Buffalo.
Well, they're looking for Kamar Atkin that time, and what a good job by Barnes. Look, he's the corner. He sees it, run through the receiver, get your hand in front, strip the ball. Timing is everything for a defensive back, and your timing has to be point on. You're half a second late, it's completion. You're half a second early, it's a penalty. So it's a tough position to play.
Kevin Barnes said he was really excited to come here. Young up-and-coming team, leaving his Washington situation. Nate Hughes inside the 10. Fair catch at the 11, and that's where Detroit takes over. 8:40 remaining in the preseason. Detroit's in front by 6. Look at the stats so far, brought to us by Comerica Bank. 2 turnovers big, an interception, pick 6 for Jonte Green, and the kickoff fumble recovered by Rashard Langford. Kellen Moore has thrown the ball well. Alex Gottlieb tripped out of bounds at the 16.
Scott Linehan taking a lot of pressure on that offensive line by getting his quarterback outside the pocket. Everything seals to the weak side. You roll Kellen Moore, you leak Gottlieb, the tight end, into the flat. Easy pitch and catch.
Wallace Miles is split wide to the right for Kellen Moore. Joyce Bell. Minimum. Pressure comes, and down goes Kellen Moore. I think that's Jerron Gilbert. We called his name a couple of times tonight.
Gilbert's going to come from the left defensive tackle spot, working inside, beating the block of Dylan Gandy a little bit. And Buffalo's front, we talked about the strength of this team. It's going to be this team defensively is going to go as that defensive front goes. Their secondary is okay. Their linebackers are okay. But I think that defensive front is going to present a lot of problems for a lot of teams this year.
Ben Graham, the left-footed punter. Roosevelt got a block, and then Graham pushes him out of bounds with Joyce Bell. Not a bad return for the Buffalo Bills.
Well, the special teams, I think an entire preseason have struggled. We're going to get a look here at the coverage on the punt. Roosevelt takes it on the one sideline, and then you're getting walled off. Keelan Williams misses it, and you see the wall forming. When your punter's forced to make the tackle, that's never good for any for a punt unit. And I think the special teams have been really spotty this preseason, Matt. They've had some good plays, but they've had a lot of bad plays. But you just don't know. We talked to Jim Schwartz because the bodies on those teams are going to be so much different when the regular season starts.
Tavares Jackson is now in, and he fumbles his first snap from center. Jackson in his 7th year from Alabama State, traded on Monday from Seattle.
The number one thing as a quarterback, you better get the snap from center. And Tavares, who just comes in, doesn't get the handle on it. But you just wonder how much he's going to be able to do in this offense right now. Maybe a boot or something pretty basic, or just handing the ball off.
There's his 7-year career, 6-year career numbers. Originally a 2nd-round choice for the Vikings. Probably more than anything else, is use the ground attack. Last year started 14 games with Seattle and put up career best numbers in completions, attempts, yards, touchdowns, and interceptions. .62, 2 1/4. 3rd down and 8. Buffalo, a very poor 2 for 7 on 3rd down conversions. Pressure comes, he's going to run with it. And drilled at the 31-yard line. Tahir Whitehead, the first one to greet him, I believe.
Oh, Tavares probably doesn't really know much of the route combinations right now. He takes a quick peek and decides to do what he does extremely well. That's run the football. And to the credit of the Lions secondary, Justin Miller, along with Carmen Messina, closing very quickly. It's like a 4th and 3, and Chang Gailey and this Buffalo team will take a timeout to discuss their options.
Well, this is the last chance to make that ever important impression. Tom Lighton, you had a chance to talk with some of the guys who make those tough decisions with the Lions, didn't you?
I did indeed, Matt. I was talking to Sheldon White before today's game because, quite frankly, I was just curious to know what the process was, and he was very serious when he started talking about this stuff. They have about a 7-page manual which the team follows. He says, you know, a lot of hoopla when a player comes in about their physical and whether they're going to pass it or anything else. We make sure that when a player leaves, we let them know exactly what we've done, whether they're waived, whether they're released, when they can be claimed by another team, whether or not the Lions might be interested in them for a practice squad position. But we also put them through a very thorough physical, which they think is very important for no other reason than if they ever want that player to come back, they know exactly what they had as he walked out the door, and they're hoping that they leave a good impression with that player so that if they do need to knock on his door again, that player holds this organization in high regard.
It's great stuff. Thanks, Tom. That was a really interesting conversation. 4th down and 3 for Tavares Jackson.
Lions look like they're manned up across, safety free. Going to bring the linebacker. Watch Jackson. He can break out of this.
Just going to say who's got Jackson. He'll loft it up for the corner. Watch Roosevelt, and it's intercepted by Amari Spivey. 3rd turnover of the night for Buffalo. 2nd pick of the night for Detroit.
Well, the Lions were man up underneath. Spivey was free, and he just read Tavares Jackson from the get-go. As Jackson looked right, he's going to lean from his safety position and start cheating to the right side. Tavares just can't put this much air on the ball because someone like Spivey, who's played a little bit, couple-year experienced player, will read that and run underneath it as he did.
Good cover by Justin Miller as well.
Right in the hip.
Miller's one of those guys who's on that bubble, but he can add special teams as well because he's a good return guy, or at least in his career.
The problem Justin Miller's running into right now is you bring in Osgood, you have Maurice Stovall, you have a Nate Hughes. You have so many other guys that are there because of their double duty, because they can play a skill position as well as a special teams player, and you don't keep 6 or 8 of those guys. Now you keep 1, maybe 2 tops.
4.5 left to go in the game. Joyke Bell stiff arms his way, dances to the 15-yard line. You know, Tom talked about his conversation with Sheldon White and members of the front office and what they go through with players before they let them loose. Here are the key dates. August 31st by 9 p.m. the roster cut down to 53. September 1st is the waiver claiming period, and it expires noon Eastern time. And then September 4th, you got to have those contracts done middle of the day.
Yeah, and the Lions cut to 53 from 75. Not 22 players are going to be cut or waived. Some may be placed on an injury reserve or a pup, physically unable to perform. So they will maybe cut upwards 18 to 20. We saw that when they cut down to 75, Matt. They didn't release 15 players. I think they only released 12 outright. But it's a tough time for players. Speaking as a former player, there's nothing worse than you sitting in that locker room. And I was a 7-year guy. I think there was 1 year I knew I was going to make the team because I had back surgery in June. So I knew they couldn't get rid of me. The other 6 years, it was a couple years I was pretty sure I was going to make it, but you never know until that final cut. When you're sitting around the locker room the morning after the final cut, and they don't call your name, and they say meeting, everyone in the meeting room. It's a pretty good feeling, I'll tell you that.
I bet. I'm sure you lost some friends to cuts too. I mean, those are tough goodbyes, aren't they?
One of my best friends my first 2 years, Jay Hayes, coaches for the Cincinnati Bengals now, defensive line coach. 2 years in a row, he got cut the last cut out of Idaho. And it is a tough situation. Now, those guys there, you look at like Goster Sherless. He's thinking about one thing right now. He's thinking about the first game of the year and the Rams come in here. Well, maybe Howie Longson's going to be coming in here and want to piece it a little bit. Chris Long out of Virginia. Goster's doing a really good training camp.
Eric Coleman always teaching. He's teaching Justin Miller right now. Rashard Langford, who had that fumble recovery on the kickoff earlier. So even if Justin Miller doesn't do it with Detroit, he might have an opportunity as he picks Eric Coleman's brain to implement some of these lessons somewhere else. Joyke Bell tripped up at about the 21-yard line or so. Kirk Morrison with the play. Morrison 5 years in Oakland, 1 in Jacksonville. He's in his 8th year out of San Diego State. A flag on the play, a late flag with 2:09 to go.
Foul, number 49 of the offense. Half the distance remains, second down.
Alex Gottlieb.
He gets tied up that time with the linebacker, Nigel Bradham. Gets a late flag. The thing about Joyke Bell is he has that little kind of subtle change of speed. It looks like he catches that ball out of the flat. All of a sudden, he'll either just accelerate a little bit to make the defender not get a full square shot on him. He's done a lot to make this team this year. He's going to be a tough cut, and I guarantee you, if he doesn't make it here, Jim Schwartz, Scott Linehan will talk to him, and you know I truly believe he's an NFL player. I think he's an NFL back. Is he a starting 16-game back? Probably not in this league because he doesn't have that burst, that speed. Is he a very serviceable second or third string running back? I believe so. Well, in the right situation.
Don't forget, you've always told us, I mean, special teams are important. He can be limited in that regard as well. I mean, a lot of people around here rooting for him, that's for sure. This and every Sunday, get in the action with a Sunday Sports Update only on Channel 7. It's where Detroit sports fans get caught up on all the big headlines. Watch this and every Sunday night at 11:30 only on Channel 7, your official Detroit Lions TV station. Nate Hughes, one of those guys. You don't think about it right now as he's talking to Wallace Miles, but after this game is over, you can't help but wonder, I mean, did I do enough? And Nate Hughes, one of those good guys in that locker room. Enjoyed talking to him, hearing some of the stories that he's had, and the experiences that he's had as well. It's a 3rd down and 18 for Kellen Moore. Dell with an inside give. Boy, he's met right away. Gets to the 12-yard line. And there's the 2-minute warning. Lions lead at 38-32. Can they hold on? We'll be back at Ford Field. You're watching Lions preseason action on WXYZ Channel 7. 3rd down and 16 for Jim Schwartz and the Lions. There was some confusion with the scoreboard here that originally read 4th. Now it's 3rd down and 16 because of the penalty to Alex Gottlieb. They'd forgotten to change it. So Kellen Moore, empty backfield set. Looking and delivering to Gottlieb, and he's tracked down right away at the 18-yard line. We'd like to thank all of our stations on the Lions Television Network carrying these preseason games for you this year. WXMI in Grand Rapids, WNEM in Flint, Saginaw, and Bay City, WSYM in Lansing, WFQX in Cadillac and Traverse City, WJMN in Marquette, and our friends WTOL south of us in Toledo. Thanks for being on board all season long. Detroit 9 penalties for 102 yards on this Thursday night. Last week they had 7 against Oakland. Against Baltimore it was 11. In week 1 it was only 1 against Cleveland.
That's kind of backwards how you think it would be.
You would think
early on in the preseason you'd be getting more penalties, offsides, legal procedures, and so forth.
6-point difference. George Yarno, the offensive line coach.
Now, Kellen Moore, you have to keep him on your 53, Matt. You know, they're only going to keep probably 2 quarterbacks. You run him through the waiver wire and hope that no one claims him, and then take your chance. You can sign him back to your practice squad.
I think he's probably a practice squad guy. You wonder if Lance Long might be in that same discussion. Ben Graham hits the nose of the football. Away from Roosevelt, it drifts out of bounds right around the 32-yard line or so. They'll mark it at the 33. So the Bills, without any timeouts, will send out Thigpen.
And that's a smart move. Tavares Jackson has no grasp of this offense yet, especially the minutia, like running a 2-minute drill.
Sure. Makes sense.
That Tyler Thigpen can do.
Probably just wanted to see him get a little bit of action, you know. I mean,
get his feet wet.
Sure. Five wide receivers set for Tyler Thigpen. Slip screen to Roosevelt. Good block. To the 44. And an injured Lion. Ross Weaver is still down. He made the tackle and then immediately grabbed his right knee.
Looks like he's cramping up a little bit.
It's an official timeout. No, they're going to call Detroit with the timeout there.
Well, you're going to run a slip screen, as you called it, Matt. Receivers, one blocks out, one blocks in. Roosevelt just kind of runs a little short out and then curls right back underneath, allows the blocks to take place, and it comes against the flow of the defense, and everyone's running for the out route. He's coming back underneath it.
Jonte Green comes in to replace Ross Weaver at the right cornerback spot. Thigpen, nice pocket, throws. It's caught at the 50 and to the Detroit 47. Zach Brown feeling like he's running out of time to make this squad. Competing with Johnny White, maybe Tashard Choice.
Here's the problem. You're one of those defensive linemen for the Lions. You only have 3, and that's where they have great depth. But they're not going to rotate those other 6 or 8 that play ahead of these 3. So they're going to have to just suck it up in this situation.
Dime package for Detroit. That's why you got the 3 D linemen. Tough to put pressure on. Ruvell Martin with back-to-back grabs. He gets to the 30 and moves the chains.
And then one more completion like this, and Thigpen might just have to spike the ball to stop the clock.
And Buffalo would like to win it. I mean, Tyler Thigpen wants to win it. Another catch inside the 25 by Martin. Takes a lot out of the big guys up front.
That's these fellows saying.
I
haven't played 10 plays hardly in training camp. Right now you're making me go 10 in a matter of a minute.
Thigpen fires up in the air, grabbed by Justin Miller. That one was touched by Everett Brown.
Everett Brown got his hand on Thigpen as he was releasing the football. And Justin Miller's going to benefit from it. As you see, Thigpen, Brown's going to come from the top. Good outside speed rush. He just flicks the upper arm a little bit as Thigpen's releasing the ball. Good job by the Lions, getting pressured and coverage. All in the zone, as you said, Matt. Only rushing 3, covering with 8. You know, it's pretty difficult. You can allow them to complete those short little passes, but because of the pressure by Everett Brown, the Lions are going to come away with their 2nd win of the preseason. 3rd interception of the night for Detroit, and you're right, Rob. I mean, 2 of those caused by defensive linemen. Yeah, twice Thigpen got hit on the delivery.
Yep. So Detroit will take the 38-32 win. Buffalo will head into the regular season winless in the preseason. They'll open on the road at the New York Jets, and Detroit will be right back here a week from this Sunday against the St. Louis Rams. 38-32, Stafford and company will wrap it up on Channel 7 when we come back.